ramp.com/sports to get $250 for signing up. That's ramp.com/sports.
Make the right call, fans. The Rooferees at John Higgins Weather Guard.
Rooferees. 1620 The Zone.
Jaylen Brown step back three is good for the left side.
Here comes Munkback with a drive and a kick. Out to Fox on the right wing for three. He's got another one. Back and forth we go. What a playoff ball game this is. Inbounds from Fox goes to Harrison Barnes. He measures. He fires for three. He's got the three-point shot. Kings have their biggest lead of the ball game. They're up 122 to 116.
Court. Reeves for three. Good! Austin Reeves with the shot of his life. 2 minutes to go. Lakers lead by 6. To the rim. Anthony Davis steals it. AD on a breakaway. AD into the front court. Slam dunk. Game in the refrigerator. And the Lakers are coming into Memphis and taking game one.
Live from 50th and Capitol Avenue in the Big O. This is Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone, 1620thezone.com, and 1620 The Zone TV. Now here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy.
All right, good morning, everybody. Unlike Netflix, Mornings with Sharp and Handley, they deliver on time. Apparently, Love is Blind. The live presentation on Netflix last night didn't go so well. The servers went down. What is this show? Is this a soft porn show, Jimmy? You are an expert on soft porn on the show.
Yeah. I think that. I'm trying to think of this as some of the crap we watched during COVID when we were just desperately trying to find anything on Netflix. And I can't remember watching this one, but I think it's pretty popular with the kids. The show, not the softcore porn, but yeah, I heard about that. Unfortunately, I don't know much more about what happened last night because I was watching the Clippers and Suns, which did not disappoint.
Sure.
Go Clippers.
Sure.
Huge Clipper fan over here.
No Scott Foster, but that didn't matter last night.
I know. Slow start. Kevin Durant. I'm not sure what happened in the first quarter or what happened at the end of the game, not finding the ball, but a good back-to-back days in the association. We are in full effect. The playoffs are underway. The NBA playoffs this weekend. The quest for the Holy Grail of the Stanley Cup begins tonight.
Yep.
If anybody can knock off Boston, we have a lot.
12 and 5.
We have a lot going on. She had upsets galore in the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the only things that really made sense out of the NBA weekend was one, Russell Westbrook is bound to have the best worst game nightly in the NBA.
3 of 19 yet.
But he was unbelievable at the end of the game.
Yeah, that last play.
But that's like the Russell Westbrook experience.
Yeah.
And the Clippers upset Phoenix. It's an upset.
Yes.
They got no Paul George. They went into Phoenix and they clubbed them. And I don't know what Phoenix was doing to begin that game. They were sleepwalking. The other thing that did not surprise me this weekend was Reggie Miller continues to steal money from TNT.
We see eye to eye here.
How is he still doing what he's doing? Reggie, wearing 31, giving the choke sign to Spike Lee courtside at MSG, having a 30 for 30. Love you, babe.
Winning time.
But my gosh, when you are in a suit and tie and you're sitting behind a monitor, you are just stealing money. They need to lock you up in Milwaukee for the stuff that you were spewing yesterday about it was a bigger loss to the Heat that Hero was out compared to Giannis. Well, I just kind of went Family Guy there.
You actually did. That was very Peter Griffin of you.
I mean, come.
Like our guy that was here Friday.
I'm no Larry O'Brien, but I can tell you that's unequivocally not true. And he was trying to explain a block and a charge and stuff. So those were the only two things that were a given this weekend in a great weekend of the NBA.
Well, if you were the road team on Sunday, that was the place to be. And
except the poor Timberwolves. Thankfully, most people went
and
to sleep.
I think we were happy about that one. But yeah, and with the weather the way it kind of was over the weekend, it was nice to kind of just settle in and watch a lot of hoops. I kind of got into your Heat. I got to admit, yesterday, I dig Bam's game, and yeah, and obviously you kind of made reference to Reggie and then the Hero injury too, but. Giannis. Oh, then that was the other thing of the weekend too. You got Giannis with the back, Ja Morant, which I'm listening to Chuck when he comes back out, I don't know if Chuck was kind of questioning the injury. He goes, "Oh, it must have just been a flesh wound or something."
Well, it's kind of weird. He had
the way he fell on that one too, he kind of catches
Well-
himself, but I thought it was more on his left hand on that one.
he did fall awkwardly, but his hand bandage was kind of awkward.
It was.
I mean, I'm thinking, Ja's gone through it a little bit of late.
Yeah.
That it's got to be a non-basketball injury. He put his hand through a window or something.
Right.
That would be
And,
par for
and
the
then
course.
and then of all things, I can't remember who explained it. They said it towards the tail end of the season. He got his hand caught in somebody's jersey, but it
Yeah.
was like,
And you hear that in football a lot.
It was like bandaged up, like you had cut your hand while you were
Yes.
slicing meat.
Right, exactly. Like it's when you get
You're
like
like
the palm
throwing
cut.
the dollar bills out in Denver, you might have sprained a wrist.
The old man in Home Alone gets the cut from the shovel and he puts his hand on the counter and he's got like the big gauze there and there's like a little bit like, oh, it must have been from shoveling. I don't think John Moran was probably doing much of that. Yeah, that was kind of funny what Chuck said. It must have been a flesh wound. But anyway, and then I mean, give the Lakers some credit though too, doing all of that at the end without really Bronny or AD having
Excuse me?
at the end. What?
His son's
No,
not
no.
playing.
Oh,
in
I'm
the
sorry.
NBA
I'm
yet.
sorry. Not that.
You're
not-
jumping the gun.
I know down to two schools, by the
yeah.
way, guys.
Bron.
Down two schools. The King James. My
No,
bad.
no.
King James
No,
and AD.
we're not calling him King
No
James.
King anymore. Just
No,
LeBron.
no, you got to call him now Bronny.
Ronnie Bryan. Okay. All right. I like that.
No, I'm just
Let's go
kidding.
with that. Well, no, come on. Let's just.
I just call him Bron. We're tight.
Okay. Where you shoot you a text. You said, "What's up, Bron?"
No, we both watched movies, same movies together.
Yeah, I got you. But yeah. When you
Okay, when we have Wendy on at some point, we have to ask him that. What do you call him? Do you call him LeBron? Do you?
get a little Austin Reeves love in there yesterday.
I call him my paycheck.
Now just a meal ticket.
Hachimura. Well, Reeves. I mean,
so-
come on.
So the Lakers now, like of the teams that are the higher seed that are down 0-1, Memphis is the team to me that's in the biggest trouble.
Yep.
Because John Morant is in jeopardy of not playing. Now they get kind of lucky, just like the Bucks do, because there's 3 games off between days.
Yeah.
So Giannis and the back can he gets some time off the floor. So Morant, though, it doesn't appear that having that many days off will affect him. But you just lost to Hillbilly Kobe. You lost to Gonzaga guy. And AD and LeBron were the 3rd and 4th best scorers. You like that nickname?
Apparently, Hillbilly Kobe
That's what you-
Kobe
when you
said
listen
he's
to him
him.
talk, it's perfect.
Hey, that's what they're calling him. Austin Reeves
Yeah.
is Hillbilly Kobe.
Yeah, it was great. It was great to see guys, man. When we were balling it. Oh yeah, it's very appropriate.
But and the Lakers, who that looking at the situation, Memphis said Lakers can't shoot, so we're not going to defend a lot of shots,
Right.
Especially on the perimeter. And the Lakers shot really, really well. So I think that Memphis is the team that is definitely in trouble, because you also had JJJ, Jaren Jackson Jr., had a game of his lifetime, and you lost that game. So there are a lot of things that backed up against the Grizz. But of the teams that are higher seed that are down 0-1, they're the team to me that
agree.
is in the most trouble, and that could get sideways pretty quick.
Yeah,
because
I'd agree.
LeBron will come back,
Mhm.
and he won't be as, I don't want to say passive, but he didn't have to get involved as much
Right.
when he needed to, and say, okay, let's have a bucket in transition. No one's going to stop me going 94 feet.
Yeah,
Don't worry about the Grizz.
the jaw injury.
They're going to have to win in 7.
I think
to
that's
win
that's
that.
probably the most accurate out of all of them, because in the point of what LeBron and AD didn't, I don't want to say they didn't have to do at the end. But knowing you did all of that with still something in the reserve there, still a little bit in the tank there. It wasn't like AD or LeBron or, both of them had to just pull out the game of their life there at the end. Like they were, for lack of a better term, they're pedestrian. And you still win that game. And if Ja can't play in game 2, imagine going back to LA if they're up 2 games to none and they took those.
It's over.
The matchup itself probably does. And a lot of people talked about that too.
It's
going in.
over,
said
or they
this-
struggle to win it in 7 if they're going to still win.
Yeah.
it.
Well, and what has it been since 2010 that a 7 is upset a 2? It doesn't really feel like in this matchup that's like the ultimate 7 versus 2 matchup either, especially given Ja's health status. So, yeah, I would agree, because You see this happen a lot. Just weird things happen in game ones when you just get the playoffs going. I mean, we've seen this for decades now. And usually that stronger team finds a way to prevail. Might make it a little bit more interesting, but finds a way to prevail. But yeah, I would agree. I think with what the Grizz are dealing with and how the Lakers won that game, I'd be concerned if I'm a Memphis fan.
Well, you think about it, Nick. We're even
still talking, by the way, too.
There's no Clark, there's no Adams. That's 2 huge losses for a team that likes to yap a lot that has not done much.
Exactly.
And those are 2 like stabilizing forces. So I worry about the Grizz. I think as a number 2 seed, and you look at what Denver did last night. So good week of ball. There are 2 games tonight, including a rematch into game 2 of the most exciting opening weekend of the NBA. The Golden State-Sacramento game. If you were a basketball hoop head,
that was
to
fun.
steal a phrase from Nebraska fandom, you were fully hussed. Okay, the way that game was played at a frenetic pace, and you have Fox and Curry, and you have Monk, and you have, Wiggins is back, playoff Andrew Wiggins is back. They play game 2 tonight. You're Golden State. You don't panic. But, man, Sacramento could find themselves up 2-love.
Oh, let's go Kings.
Dang, if Curry would have hit that shot to tie it and send it overtime. The last couple of minutes of that game Saturday night were bonkers. I was at a place watching that game, and outside the window was this guy doing parkour.
Please tell me more.
Well, it was a weird situation. I was actually like a little bit worried.
Where were you?
Well, I'm not going to say where I was, but
They
it had
encouraged
a window, and this guy who appeared to be traveling across the city of Omaha.
Yeah.
He had his backpack, amongst other things with him.
Oh.
He just was outside in the parking lot, and the next thing you know, he is sprinting. He is running off the wall on the side of the building, and then he's trying to run up a parking sign. And I'm like,
wow.
I'm like, whoa,
Like
what is
Matrix
going on? Well, I was like a little bit like, what should we do here? Don't make eye contact. Don't make eye contact. I thought all of a sudden there's a White Sox game going to break out of the sports bar, and I'm going to have to start punching. And of course, no security would show up.
Of course.
So I was like, I had my right eye on this dude. You got to have your head on a swivel.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a bad part of town. Like, I don't think there's any.
Oh, crazies will find you no matter where you are.
Yeah, you're probably right. But this location doesn't show up really much on Omaha Scanner or predators in your neighborhood. What Chris Hansen is doing, I don't know. And then my left eye was on the Golden State Sacramento game. That was a great last couple of minutes and a fantastic atmosphere. Light the beam, baby.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing now.
What?
No, I didn't. I've seen like the bare minimum of Kings games.
Then let me welcome you into
hadn't
watching late night basketball. Remember my 2 NBA League Pass teams? Sacramento is fun.
Right.
Their offense is fun. Their crowd has embraced them, the cowbells, and light the beam. So outside of their arena, which I mean, sure, a lot of fans here locally probably been to. Creighton has played an NCAA tournament game up there.
Yep.
It's a beautiful arena, right in smack dab in the capital city of the state of California. And when they win, they started a tradition where they throw this laser way up into the sky, and it's light the beam.
Okay.
So fans are saying, light the beam, light the beam. And they won. And so that's what you saw when De'Aaron Fox came over to the midcourt with the owner. And probably you also surprised the Maloof brothers don't own the Kings anymore.
I did. Well, I did know
Vivek
Vivek owns them. Yes, and you have Lottie's involved in the front office. But
so they light the beam, and then this laser goes way up into the sky outside of like on the top of the arena. It's really, really cool. It's great for the NBA.
Oh, I was in as soon as I saw it.
That was a college atmosphere.
Yeah, that was amazing.
And it'll be even louder in there tonight.
And
it was old school Sacramento. It's just like Arco again.
Well, and remember when Golden State was getting good too? And the old Oracle was, I mean, it was bonkers.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It was absolutely
you go back
nuts.
even to the 07 playoffs.
Like, that's kind of the feeling I got, like just the Kings atmosphere too. Like playoff atmosphere there. It's something that they've been like, just absolutely like, dying for. And to see like that kind it was just a bit different. You could tell like when OKC first started hosting playoff games, like you can tell when someone has been, clamoring for that. And when you have, not been doing that lately, the crowds, how they sort of stand out from ones that are just more used to being in the playoffs. Look, playoff pitch is a little bit different from every arena, but that one was noticeable. But I think the game had something to do with it too. That series itself, that we could only hope maybe go 7.
Sacramento's a huge winner. So was the NBA in that game.
Yes.
Because so people see the young talent that Sacramento has. Now they got some old heads. They got Harrison Barnes, and then all the way to Fox, who was magnificent. I think he might have had one of the best performances of the weekend. But you had the crowd, which before the game was outside.
Yep.
Okay, so they were packed outside of the arena before they ever let them in. And then 20 minutes before the game starts, the arena already is jam-packed and everybody's wearing white. If you guys been to NBA games or you've been to a Creighton game, people don't start getting in their seats until right about tip-off.
Yeah.
But at an NBA game, and I know it's a playoff game, and you haven't had one in 17 years, but to be packed 20 minutes prior, I thought that was great for the NBA because people get to see like some of the young talent that is in the league that you don't normally watch. And Sacramento definitely is one of those teams, even though they're number 3 seed.
It's like an arena-wide student section.
Yeah.
That's how I'd like it.
It basically was a college football atmosphere.
Yep. Where everybody's chasing to get into their seats and can't wait to just be there, sit down, and just take in the environment.
I'm very lucky in that
welcome to playoff basketball.
In my life, I've been to a lot of NBA playoff games, and watching that game Saturday night, it brought back all the feels. I'm like, damn it, I miss this. Being in that kind of atmosphere and the way, especially when you have a game like that that's going back and forth and you can just feel it. It's still the best of all the sporting events I've been to. Those games were the best, and especially earlier in my life when when the Spurs played at the Hemisphere, it was a lot like that, like a college atmosphere. It was a different time. So yes, I know exactly what you're saying, and thus I can see why you picked the Kings as your league pass team. They're fun.
They're young and fun, young, dumb, and full of. No, that's a Jason Peter line. Don't ever try that, Nick.
It's actually it came from Point Break.
Oh, Jason doesn't get credit for it?
Yeah, it came from Point Break. That was from Keanu Reeves' boss in Point Break. All right, let's
once he liked the movie.
I mean, but I can give someone credit for liking the movie and going as far as quoting it. That's fine.
Yeah. All right, let me give the lineup for the show as we welcome in on a Monday. It is a week that includes 420.
All right.
420.
A lot of people driving down.
We have brownies at work.
Interstate 29.
Brought some gummies in, guys. Just gummy bears. Don't think like that. It's not legal here.
Also, it is Earth Day this week,
which is always fun that coincides on the same couple day span.
It is also the spring game. Do not look at the weather for Saturday in Lincoln.
It'll be football weather at least.
It'll be Big Ten weather.
Yeah,
it's Big Ten weather.
It's going to feel a little bit like that early November game in East Lansing.
Well put.
But it's still not going to feel like that.
Wisconsin
November game in Lincoln against Wisconsin.
It will not.
It took me a week to thaw out.
So we have a lot on the spring game coming up this week because Nebraska's into the last week of practice. They had a major scrimmage on Saturday that we'll get to. Also, today is a big day because the new Herbie, the old is new again, I think is what you're going to see. I wonder how long it'll be before Herbie gets canceled. Will this be woke Herbie or unwoke Herbie?
Well, and we also asked the question where there'll be a Herbie.
I don't think so.
No.
No.
Yeah, we were wondering if they would.
Apparently, we will have team coverage today on the zone.
Give Herbie. Maybe give Herbie a love interest.
Well,
or spawn, or a daughter. Herbie.
Just seeing if this Herbie will get canceled.
It's got to be.
Odds
careful.
are yes, because everything does.
It's got to be careful.
So we have that to look forward to today. Also, Nebraska baseball swept this weekend.
Did what they had to do.
And they got a huge weekend coming up. But a little bit later, Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star, now about a year into her job, in a couple of months, she'll celebrate her year anniversary at the Lincoln Journal-Star, the columnist who is fantastic. And she is the new addition to our Monday lineup. It is also, so she is a big runner. And the Boston Marathon is today. This is like on my bucket list. And it's the 10-year anniversary of the bombing of the Boston Marathon, which it's hard to believe that it has been 10 years. But everybody knows the story and how important, for example, the Red Sox were in the recovery of that city and Boston Strong. Well, on Patriots Day, you have the marathon that kicks off at 10 a.m.? And then the Angels, at 9 a.m. 9 a.m. Central, I believe.
And the game is, I think, at 10.
At 10:10, you will have the Red Sox and the Angels, and Ohtani is pitching. And then tonight, you have the juggernaut Bees are at home to begin their postseason series against the Florida Panthers. So it is a huge day in Boston. And Amy, who is a runner, she will be on. And for 30 minutes, we will break down the 72 Nebraskans that are running in the Boston Marathon. But she's going to join us.
I hope she knows
for the first time. Oh, she will. We'll let her know. And also prepare yourself. She wrote, and you might need some time for yourself. Speaking of, wow, has it been that long? It's 10 years of Jack Hoffman.
Yep.
And she wrote a fantastic column in the Journal-Star yesterday, a story with Jack and the family. And, he lost his father, Andy, who was so big in founding Team Jack. So Amy will join us coming up at 8:30. Our hoop heads are back. Jacob Bigelow stops by. The vibe on Hoyball. And then Joel Lorenzi will be in. And by the time that Joel joins us, will Creighton have a new addition to their roster. We will keep an eye on that. I know a lot of people are hitting refresh on their browser to see what Ashworth is going to do from Utah State. Maybe he just needs to clear it with a couple of people. I would be shocked if he didn't say yes to Nebraska. I'd be very shocked if he said
about that.
yes to Nebraska, but not shocked if he said yes to Creighton.
Never know. It's a crazy season. Maybe Nemhard will go to Nebraska. Who knows?
Now, that would be crazy. And that would make that game on December 3rd kind of interesting. And then I'd wonder, what the hell did Gonzaga and Arizona do to chase Nemhard back to Nebraska?
That is not a rumor at all. I'm just saying silly things on a Monday.
That is the lineup brought to you by the Rooferees at John Higgins. Weather Guard, the whole gang is here. When we come back, Nebraska football scrimmaged on Saturday. And there's some guys that either are playing their way into more playing time or playing their way into the portal. Portaling season has begun in earnest for college football. We will get into that when we return. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Nick, Jimmy, and Gary all here for you to kick off the week on the 17th of April on 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. The best way to catch all the action is on 1620 The Zone. And no line for the bathroom.
Spring into savings and a chance to see Morgan Wallen live in concert. JTech Solar is excited to offer all homeowners an opportunity to enter our Morgan Wallen official Platinum Floor Seat ticket giveaway by visiting their website at yourexteriorexperts.com. Everyone who purchases a solar energy system will receive a free solar cooler. Don't miss out on this opportunity to go green and rock out. Choose JTech Solar, the official solar energy experts of Nebraska Athletics.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Businesses of Omaha, settling for a website that looks like it's stuck in the early 2000s? Then it's time to level up with JM Online. Our local team builds custom websites that solve unique business needs. We're not your typical web design company. We're your partners in online success. Ready to take your website to the next level? Go to jmonline.com and request an initial call.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream. But it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online, so your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 6 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject to policy terms and underwriting.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean. Of course, I use Mr. Clean Magic Eraser to clean tough messes off my stovetop and bathtub. But then I discovered I can also use it to easily clean my even my shoe.
And when wipes won't cut it, I use Magic Eraser Sheets. They're thin and flexible erasers, perfect for everyday messes, like gunk on my counters and sinks. They really are magical.
The reviews are in. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser and Sheets make cleaning look easy.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, good Monday morning, everybody. Busy week in the sports world. All the playoffs are underway. Hockey begins tonight. 4 games are a go.
Nick, will you grow a beard? Even though your team's not in it?
Nah, I mean, yeah, probably not. Now, I am. We have our very loyal listener, Steve, who hits us up right away. Huge Bruins fan.
Thank you, Steve.
I do want to say this for the teams that we've seen have done historical context type things like the Red Wings, like the Lightning, 2018, 2019 Lightning. Not one of those teams have made it out of the conference finals. Of course, we know what happened. The Lightning with the Blue Jackets back in 2019 didn't even make it out of didn't even get a win in the first round of the playoffs. I feel like this Bruins team is different. I will say that. But there is, in the rare air that the Bruins have now eclipsed between what the Red Wings did in the mid-90s in that 2018-2019 Lightning team, small sample size, but history would not be on the side of the Boston Bruins as far as what you have accomplished in the regular season. And that's why we love the Stanley Cup playoffs, because really anything goes.
So 11 of the last 36 President Cup trophy winners have made it to the Stanley Cup final, and 8 have won it.
Yeah.
So Boston, which is, unbelievable. They were 65-17, and 5 of those losses were in overtime, where their goal differential was plus 128. Now, Bergeron is an issue because of his health, and they have possibly an injury to the goaltender, Olmark, but I don't know who's going to slow him down.
Yeah,
they got their core that has either won a cup or has come close, and they were great down the stretch when they could have coasted in.
Right.
They were fantastic. So it basically comes down to Boston or the defending Stanley Cup champions, the Avs, who found out this year when you try and repeat in hockey, you got roster construction, you've got injuries, you've got, all right, just get to the postseason again. So you got Boston and Colorado, or the field is essentially what I think this comes down to.
Yeah.
Because the Western Conference, by the way, to win the cup is plus 150, which isn't bad. All right, so that begins tonight. The Bruins take on the Panthers. You got the Islanders and the Hurricanes. Oh, boy. How about another point shot in that game? That'll be a boring series. Well, because no, they don't. Everybody just shoots from the point. And then you have Minnesota and Dallas, which will be the North Green
North
matchup.
Stars and the Stars.
And then the Kings and my favorite to win the West, Edmonton.
I
can get on board with Edmonton.
Connor McJesus, man.
Yep, and that's it. If the Hawks are not representing the West, like I try to get on a West team as long as it's not St. Louis. And I
know.
Can't do that.
I know.
But Connor McDavid still gets. We talked about this not too long ago. He gets mentioned when it comes to the NHL hockey circles, but in the greatest professional athletes that currently exist right now, he does not get enough attention. So I'm all in on Edmonton, all in on Connor McDavid having a huge postseason. That's my team.
What do you think the let's foreshadow the reaction when Herbie is announced some way today?
Like how it's going to be announced?
Yeah.
A lot of smoke, and can you feel it playing? And he just kind of raises up.
Actually, that's not a bad
Kind of like how
prediction
Apollo
there.
Creed comes up and before
Coming
he
out of
fights
the
Drago.
doors opening with the smoke, like they would do for the tunnel walk. Doors open and you unveil the new Herbie. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Will he be at the spring game?
Oh,
I
absolutely.
imagine have to be the spring game, right?
Yes, that'll be the big.
Just because that costume
the
will
big
keep
reveal.
him warm.
So so the overalls are back. Like Frat Herbie is gone. Okay, you can set Frat Herbie on fire and just put him on the corner of what 16th and whatever.
Because he didn't pop his collar though.
It was
What
Frat
color?
Herbie.
Yeah.
Get rid of that.
That was
thing.
when we were in
That
school.
thing was hideous. As long as they preserve Little Red, I know I'm in the minority, which is kind of rare that I'd be in the minority, but I'm in the minority. I think they need to preserve Little Red.
Oh.
But y'all want to kill Little Red.
I'm indifferent.
For
No,
some
no,
reason,
no.
I thought you wanted to
Don't-
pop him.
Don't let
Okay.
me into Connor.
Oh,
I'm not Connor
Okay.
Happer. Connor is vehemently against Little Red. I'm indifferent. If Little Red, I said if they decided to kind of phase him out, that'd be a way to go. That's fine. I'm okay with that. If they decide to keep him around for the the child entertainment value, that's fine too. I get that. I'm indifferent. I could wake up tomorrow with an announcement that they're going to move on from Little Red. It wouldn't upset me. Or
We've gone
I
in
could hear
different
about
directions.
a 20-year extension of Little Red. I'd be like, okay, that's fine. Doesn't bother me one bit. So I'm indifferent.
You should ask Trev about this Thursday.
Not all of us bald redheads think the same when it comes to Little Red. Same.
Little Red isn't for us. It's for the kids.
I
Keep Little
agree.
Red. You got to keep Little Red, and they're bringing back the overalls, so
Which is good.
it won't be as creepy. So it looks like because Lawler's kind of blew Nebraska's surprise by releasing the shirts that they have. It looks like basically old is new again. That's how the way I'm going to describe it.
Yeah.
Because the golden hair is back and the golden corn cob.
Mhm.
And we discussed this ad nauseum at a place that went 4-8 last year. That's why we're talking about this.
I just would love to get like the 30,000 foot view of what we talk about right now, and people will be like, "Hey, what's going on there?" Hey, they're talking about the exciting new reveal of the Herbie Husker, which it is very, very old school, but these things matter this time of the year.
Oh,
we could have been 8-4 a year ago. We'd still be talking about
We'll
this.
have reaction tomorrow too.
Mascots matter. We
They
tried
do.
to cancel Herbie.
Mhm.
Travis brought the old Herbie back. He's got overalls on. That's good. All right. But I think, like, just trying to piece together
He's putting on a little weight,
the
though.
reveal, that's okay. We all have.
Yeah. He's got a little winter insulation.
That's why we're expanding the seats at Memorial Stadium. So Herbie's going to be like everybody else.
Relatable.
It does look like he's going to go through all of the former, mascots. Some mascots at Nebraska back in the day were really, really creepy. So as you've gone along, have you gotten less creepy? That should be the goal of creating a mascot. Are you getting less creepy? And maybe to some, this will be less creepy when they announce it at some point today. And then it's got to be like on the sidelines for the spring game.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Or
there'll be a major reveal.
Or
on Saturday.
Solich and the new Herbie come out together.
Oh.
No, don't. No, come on, guys, don't.
New
No.
mascot could be
No.
driving the cart.
No, new Herbie deserves his own platform. Don't. Come on, don't share.
I think they're intertwined.
I guess
I think
Frank.
to break any curse.
I guess Frank and he deserves his too, but
And you said about burning the old one, that could be part of the whole curse breaking, like a ceremony.
well, we had ideas.
Just because lighting
About
things on fire,
involving
kids enjoy that.
Well, we involved Frank Solich in was it executing Little Red?
No, we're not executing a mascot. I mean, how would you explain that to your kids?
I feel like
Son, in life, there's going to be disappointments. This is your first lesson.
No, we're not killing Little Red.
I feel like as Nebraska fans, we are good storytellers to our young folk, whether it be our own son or daughter or relation, or even just the kids. And the lesson that can be learned here is, you know what? Some things are worth sacrificing when it comes to the greater good of our football glory.
I hope your kid cries all night. The spring game, we might all be crying if it's the weather. This is another good thing. We're so Nebraskan. We're talking about a mascot being revealed,
I love
and
it.
how we're complaining about the weather in April around here. But I will say it's going to be 51 at kickoff for the spring game. Going to be a little breezy, a little brisk and breezy is what the weather people are telling me.
Brisk and breezy. You know what
Brisk
pisses me
and
off?
breezy. I wonder if Jeff Sims will be able to throw in the wind. And if he does throw in the wind, does that mean he is a certified number one quarterback?
I want to start
Discuss
with
amongst yourselves.
my anger right now because 51 on a Saturday.
What did we do last week? Anger Monday or Angry Monday?
Yeah, so I'm just going to keep that theme going.
Okay.
It has nothing to do with it being 51 degrees in late April in the state of Nebraska, because we know sometimes that could actually be a pleasant surprise. That could be, oh, wow, it's actually got nice because we could have just came out of like the 30s. What pisses me off is that, and this isn't me bashing on meteorologists, but
no, just let it out.
Extended forecasts were showing that Saturday, like well into the 60s for like the last 2 weeks on the extended forecast. I get that's why it's an extended forecast. It's not 100% accurate. But then as we got through like Friday's little round of storms, all of a sudden, what the hell? As you start looking towards the weekend, it like shot down 20 degrees. I'm not blaming anybody. It just makes me mad because I thought, wow, we're going to have a really good Saturday. We're going to have a really good weekend.
Hey, even the Fear Weather Gal on Channel 7. And I say that because like one day it might be 85 and like one of the nicest days, and Bill Ranby has it or top 10 day, and she'll say, but the wind is going to blow and you may have some particles in your yard, but it's going to be 85.
Those contacts are really going to be suffering.
She actually went with, it's not going to be real accommodating, but there is football. So I'm like, she did the reverse fear weather forecast.
That's when you know it must be bad. Must be really bad then.
So the spring game is on Saturday, and that'll be the talk of the town. It's too bad that the Nebraska-Iowa baseball series is in Iowa City, not in Lincoln, because you would have an $8,000 regardless of the weather there. We'll get to Nebraska baseball.
They did that a few years ago, by the way, too. Didn't go well for Nebraska, but they did do the Iowa-Nebraska baseball game in concert with the spring game, and it was well attended.
So one year I did the trifecta. I did the sidelines for the spring game, then walked over and did the baseball game. Nebraska was playing Baylor at Buck Belzer, and then they did a Lincoln Stars playoff game that night.
Oh, wow.
What did you do after that Lincoln Stars game?
The Stars lost, and it was a playoff game, so I was a little upset. Probably drank heavily.
That's why I was hoping you kept
and then
going.
Passed out after.
You don't just go home and sleep after
a day
that.
well lived.
That's 3 events of adrenaline.
Yeah, but I was like giddy. Yeah,
I would be too.
And so the spring game ended, and all of a sudden Buck Belzer had 3,500 people in it for an inning, and then people left. And like they counted attendance immediately.
Yeah,
I think Seamus was in charge of baseball back then. He was like, "Okay, attendance is now." Oh,
and then by the 8th inning, it's like, yeah, I recognize those parents.
So there is. So speaking of like attendance, I heard the last count was 57,000 tickets. Maybe
that's it.
Maybe a little bit down. I don't know. It's a week later. That's a big walk-up game. Like it all depends on the weather. So you're not going to bump it from 57 all of a sudden to 87. And Ohio State's making a big deal that they had 75. I'm done.
They can hang a banner.
I'm done going crazy about spring game attendance because places that love football, they show up. Places that are kind of drive-by, they're not going to come to your spring game. But you will do this. So in this year's spring game, and I think there's a lot of intrigue because there's a lot of new faces in different places on this roster. But the whole thing with the spring game is, will there be more answers than questions? Like I watched Ohio State this weekend, and you still don't know who their quarterback's going to be. Now they've got an enormous amount of talent, but they looked really choppy. And so there are still some questions, probably a little bit more than answers they had out of their spring game. And I'm sure it'll be the same way around here. I can tell you one answer that you will have out of the spring game. They won't do it because it's Matt Rule and the competition committee. They should just name Jeff Sims the number one quarterback. I don't know. Coaches that tell you, we're going to carry it into the fall. And, Casey Thompson, when he gets cleared, we'll have a battle. They'll say that publicly, but privately, they want to establish a number one quarterback. Jeff Sims is the number one quarterback at Nebraska. And there's not a huge gap between him and Harburg, but there's enough of a gap that Jeff Sims is going to be the starting quarterback at Nebraska. I just feel that way. The way he runs the ball, he had some long zone read runs on Saturday. He had a nice touchdown pass to Alex Bullock. Now, Jeff Sims is he's better on the deep ball, but he still struggles in that short to intermediate passing game.
So
but in terms of running the offense and just his size, because in person, he's bigger than you would think. He's the number one quarterback. And I think that will be your answer when you see him on Saturday. because I expect like Harburg will play well. Purdy, I don't know where that's going. I don't see Chuba starting at Nebraska ever again. I just don't.
Mhm.
And then, Torres is right behind him, and you got Casey Thompson. So there's going to be some decisions about quarterback, but the decision to me is already made. Jeff Sims is the number one quarterback.
I was telling you during one of the breaks, and for anybody who saw the video, again, it's all cleared through the head guy of what makes it out for the social media post when we're talking about images or even the practice video. For whatever reason, they just kept showing Richard Torres get lit up, and maybe that was more on his offensive line. Whatever the offensive line was in, I know he's trying to sell the defense, who apparently won the day, but it was always number 15. I was like, come on, I got to do Torres like that. Now, if you're right, and you're right, there will not be. It's not like Matt Rule is going to say during the post-spring game press conference that our number one, we're just going to go ahead and tell you, is Jeff Sims. He's not going to say that. But I've always believed when you sort of watch things unfold, especially with 15 practices, everybody in the building knows.
Yeah.
They all see it with their own eyes. So what is that? And Chuba and Richard Torres, the Logan, there's a lot of different guys that I think we all kind of like, all right, we kind of pivot to and say, well, what are they going to do? My question would be, if it is obvious, and I'm not saying that's what you're claiming, but if it is that obvious with the players, what does that mean for Casey? That's the question I have. What does that mean for Casey?
That means that there are schools that need a quarterback.
Yep.
That fair game to reach out to gauge an interest.
Mm-hmm.
I would listen. Remember, we talked on Friday about
you have to.
Florida. Florida's in the market for a quarterback.
Yep.
That's a Power 5 school in the SEC.
Mm-hmm.
So there's not all these quarterbacks are not going to stay.
No.
And
at least two are gone.
And they love Harburg. So, I mean, Casey, I don't think the development here that Harburg was going to develop as quickly as he has, because that was going to be the spot for Casey when he's fully cleared. And now Harburg, who has 15 practices up on Casey, has been pretty impressive for what the coaches want. Now, is it enough to say, you're our guy? No. But you're our guy to be the backup to Jeff Sims? Yeah, I think so. So, like, Chuba's going to have a decision to make.
Yeah.
Casey's going to have a decision to make. And there's going to be other guys in this program here in the next week, and then on Saturday and Sunday, that have already made up their mind of they're staying, and they're going to fight for a job, or they're going to move on. I mean, all those things are going to come up, but the quarterback, you're not keeping that many quarterbacks. You're just not, because there's a log jam at the top, and it's not like it's wide open that you could burst up there. Whenever coaches look you in the face after spring football and they say, well, we haven't made up our mind about the quarterback, I say BS, because you want your quarterback picked. Yeah, you want competition and you want him to be challenged in the fall. But if you believe in your quarterback, you know that's not going to knock them off when they get to the fall, because they know they're the number one guy and they're going to go and grab it. So you already have your quarterback picked. You want to claim competition and do that publicly, that's fine. But privately, you want your quarterback through the summer and into the fall.
There's something that, as you discuss this too, and I'll admit, when we talked about this back in January of choose your weapon, choose your quarterback, I just rolled with the familiar in Casey. I don't feel so good about that. And that's before we're having this conversation. It's one of those things you start to go back on and pick up on when Satterfield is asked about the quarterback situation, or in particular, Jeff Sims. Matt Rule is asked about Jeff Sims or the quarterback situation. Notice how he doesn't give any glaring praise about just Jeff Sims. And it's not because, because it's wide open or Jeff Sims is underperforming. No, that this is where they're trying to be. I feel, and we've seen this with other coaching staffs throughout college football. Hell, we've seen it here before too, where you're kind of coy about it because it obviously benefits you if you do have as many quality bodies in that room. Realistically, you're not going to keep them. But I feel like that narrative, if you start just absolutely praising a dude, You're putting that out there in the public. The public is believing it as well, that this is our guy and you haven't even gotten in the fall. Well, that's a pretty easy decision for the guys that, feel like there's another opportunity for them. I do think there is something to them not really praising what Jeff Sims has done without making sure they mention other quarterbacks in the process. And that's deliberate. Yeah. There's no question that that's deliberate.
Yeah. And I mean, so I say Jeff Sims is the number one. That doesn't mean that he's a finished product and he's like all of a sudden the best quarterback in their own division. Because I think going into the season, Mordecai at Wisconsin is the best quarterback in the West Division. But in terms of on the roster, just watch on Saturday. Just don't go in and go. I would advise people to watch the spring game thinking everybody is a number one.
Mm-hmm.
And then make up who you think is. He just carries himself the guy when he's out on the field. Now, he's got to work on his short passing game, but his deep ball is not bad. And he is very smart with running the football. Like the zone read, that's an element that Nebraska, where they didn't even ask Casey to do it. So you lost that element when you needed it at certain times last year. Jeff Sims can give you that. And so I think he's the quarterback when they play August 31st against Minnesota. And they won't say it. They won't announce it after spring ball. But I think it's becoming clearer by day that he's the better quarterback than anybody in that quarterback room. Now you say, how big is that quarterback room going to be? Because I think it could be down a couple of quarterbacks by the time you get to the fall. All right, 54 past the hour. Coming up later, Amy Just will make her debut on 1620 The Zone, the talented columnist from the Lincoln Journal-Star. She's going to join the Monday foray with all of us. Plus, we will talk about Nebraska baseball's weekend. What a huge week ahead. They have the midweek mess, and then they have the really good weekend. So they've got Creighton and they've got Iowa on the road.
I almost quoted you when I was putting out the Big Ten standings last night in a tweet of just another example of weekend Nebraska and not midweek mess in Nebraska right there.
Midweek mess. And look at this.
Weekend Nebraska 7-2.
So the next two Tuesdays, Nebraska plays Creighton in Lincoln Tuesday night, and then they come up here to play Omaha for the final time on the following Tuesday. But if they win against Iowa and win another series, which would be their fourth straight, midweek mess,
whatever.
Maybe. Maybe just a little.
I mean, a little bit, but if you take care of business against Iowa and you're sitting, let's say they win the series and you're sitting there at 9-3 in Big Ten play, officially halfway through Big Ten conference play, you'll take it.
And as you tweeted out, Nebraska now finds themselves in first place. What a weird year.
Sitting there 7-2.
What a weird year. All right, hour in the books. Jimmy, Nick, and Gary here on a Monday, 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Zoom Drain Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can't expect a significant delay from Richland Drive to 90th along Highway 370. Then on Center, it looks like things are slowing down just a little bit from 192nd to 186th. And on L, be prepared for a minor slowdown near 90th Street. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic is brought to you by Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Everyone knows Saul's pays top dollar for your gold, but Saul's pays cash on the spot for your precious metals too. Silver, gold, platinum, coins, bars. Who wants to wait to get paid? Get to Saul's Jewelry and Loan.
Saul's Jewelry and Loan. You'll find it all at Saul's Jewelry.
Did you know the household goods that you donate to the Salvation Army make a big difference here in the Metro? Those donated goods are sold at our thrift stores, and the proceeds go directly into our Omaha area social services programs. Donate now and help those in need find support, hope, and a second chance. And it's easy to do. Just call us. Schedule a pickup time today by calling 1-800-SA-TRUCK. That's 1-800-SA-TRUCK. Thank you for your generosity.
The Blue Jay Zone is brought to you by Barry Law. We're in it to win it. While the Creighton offensive bats have struggled, the starting pitching has done anything but. Weekend starters Ryan Wyndham and Dominic Cancellieri are on a pretty good run right now for the Blue Jays. Wyndham, in his last 4 outings, has a 2.25 ERA and has only allowed 4 walks in the last 24 innings. Meantime, Dominic Cancellieri, in his last 2 starts, no runs over 14 innings, and 3 walks versus 18 strikeouts.
Winning comes without a guarantee. Focus, discipline, and extraordinary effort make winning more likely. Sometimes our greatest wins come from major setbacks. Coming back from a serious injury is a win that requires teamwork. At Barry Law, we're in it to win it.
If you have been seriously injured in an accident, call Barry Law today. 402-999-7777.
It's time to wake up your taste buds. Introducing my new Fiesta Line Chicken Pizza. Spicy taco sauce, generous amounts of chicken, green peppers, onions, jalapenos, mounds of cheddar and mozzarella cheese, and finished with a tangy lime sprinkle. Add your favorite one-topping pizza and my sweet cinnamon monkey bread. Fiesta Feast. Now that's a fiesta for your mouth. Godfather's Pizza. Do it.
Many people go back to the dealership out of habit or because they think the dealer is the only one who knows how to fix their car. At Omaha Car Care, we offer a better option. We have ASE certified technicians, the technology to service any vehicle, and free loaner cars. The dealer will sell you a package of services. We'll provide the service you want for your car as your trusted partner. I'm Rick Betker, owner of Omaha Car Care, and we'll be along for the ride.
Attention sales professionals. NRG Media is looking for an accomplished business-to-business salesperson who wants to take their success and skills to a new level. Is this you? Our account executives work with local businesses to create marketing plans to help them get more customers. On air, digital, on-site, audio, video, it's all part of what you can sell. A sales career with NRG lets you make a real difference. Get more info and apply online at nrgmedia.com. NRG Media is an equal opportunity employer.
Yes, we do have availability. Those dates for how many guests?
Andrea's Boutique Hotel is the destination to tie the knot.
Oh, you want the whole property?
She needs an assistant to catch the bookings bouquets.
249 guests, huh? Oh, and 3 dogs.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. We instantly connect you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no per-ticket fees. Ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, 7:01 on a Monday. Coachella was this weekend. Blink 182. Tom came back.
So I got to ask. So it did go off without a hitch because remember at one point they were trying to compare Fire Festival to Coachella. It's supposed to be the new Coachella, and Blink 182 was the first drop in the rainstorm once they canceled. So you knew if they were committed, it had to be a good show.
Tom DeLonge was back. Blink 80.
That's awesome.
182.
I loved Blink growing up. Like that was my high school and even early college anthems. Just anything Blink 182. I don't know if I'd pay to see him right now. I probably would. I take that back. I probably would, as long as the entire group is there.
I saw some video. They played like all their great hits.
Yeah.
But they also did a lot of like commentary, like just ripping on each other.
Yeah. They're funny. No, that would be an act that I probably would pay. Not a lot. I'm not saying like, in 100 plus, but as long as everybody's there, all aligned, yeah, I'd be happy. I'd go.
They were they're supposed to be on a tour, but Travis Barker injured his finger in rehearsal.
Okay.
So he was out, but they were back and they were in full effect. And if you want to watch any of the highlights, I would find the NSFW version, the
always.
safe version, because they were on one.
Who were some of the?
They made the Red Hot Chili Peppers at Woodstock.
Oh, really?
They were PG.
Were
They were just they were
were they
fun.
clothed?
No socks were involved.
They were ripping on each other. Like they would play, like the rock show, and then they would go like 15 minutes of just bashing each other, having fun with each other. And they go all the small things when people are going nuts, and then they go back to hey Tom, where you been for 9 years? Welcome back in hour number 2.
That's
Jimmy's
a song
got
where everyone sings along.
Oh, hey, I
Never gets old.
When Blink 182 came on the scene, I was all over. I thought this is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And they started in a garage in San Diego.
Yep.
But they did. So I do like the song Family Reunion.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's one of their classics. Then they have what? Anthem Part 2, Feeling This, and What's My Age Again?
It's My Age Again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so they
Take
have,
me back.
Yeah,
And then even
they have
like
a lot of
you
familiar
get
ones.
deep with Adam's song too. Like that's sad too. So,
I mean, who didn't go through a punk band phase back in the 90s?
that led to my ska phase. I got into Mighty Mighty Boss Tones, and No Doubt.
And then you went goth?
I never went goth. Never went goth.
Is goth still a thing?
I'm sure in some circles it is.
I bet it exists. I don't know if it, because remember it became mainstream. Like
If you're in high school, 951-1620 while you're in the
your
way.
next door neighbor who was like an honor roll student in All America guy or gal, all of a sudden, black fingernail polish, dark hair. I will admit though, I listened to.
I thought you were going.
No,
somewhere
I did not. I did not. But
I may have dabbled.
I did not dabble, but I did listen to Marilyn Manson. Beautiful People. That was a whether it was football, baseball, pregame in the Discman that I would have rolling, because that jack you up.
All right, poll question: is goth still a thing, and is it not a thing because Sting is no longer around?
Sting started goth.
He went into the goth look a little bit. Don't you think he did?
Oh man, if that's on your bingo card.
No, I don't believe he did. Unless maybe I'm missing a phase of Sting. I always thought Sting of just maybe I'm too stuck on Police Sting. Maybe that's.
Oh no, I'm talking about the wrestler.
Oh, I
the
like
wrestler.
talking about Sting. That's what,
You're over here thinking driven to tears.
My bad. Do you understand my confusion there? Like, wait, Sting?
Not Sting from the Police, who is now a solo artist and will
Right.
be at Red Rock later this year.
Yeah.
Much
Sting,
different
the
vibe.
wrestler.
Like, I know he was watching you, but what the hell? Did he go goth? I don't remember that.
No, you don't want him watching you.
Clearly, I can't answer that question then, because I don't even know who the hell Sting is.
The wrestler?
Yeah, I
The
don't know who he
wrestler?
is.
Oh, people help him out.
Oh
Sorry.
wow.
People help him out. 951
That's surprising.
Guys, I got gaps in my wrestling knowledge.
Jesus, do you hate Rule for going to
No, I thought that was,
SmackDown the other
that
night?
was very cool, but it got a
Jeez.
lot of run. My God, within 2 hours, social media lost its mind. And, oh, God, if you just typed in Matt Rule, I did this because I don't know why I did this. A Panther fan seeing Matt Rule at SmackDown. Oh, the venom. Because everyone who was just talking major crap about Matt Rule, I saw like 3 separate ones, like, why the hell is Matt Rule at SmackDown? And one person goes, God, I hate this guy. I hope he never wins another game. And I click on their profile, Carolina Panther logo. They just hate him. They absolutely hate him. Oh gosh.
Ruin their wrestling.
No, but I do have gaps in my wrestling knowledge, because once WWF kind of phased out, or my interest in WWF with Andre, Hulk, Ultimate Warrior, all of them, I lost interest. So there's a good gap. I apologize.
But still.
But Sting.
Yeah.
By the way, Matt Rule appearing Friday night. He is about that life. There is
That's what I
more.
thought.
There is more to the whole Matt Rule experience in his 5 months here.
Remember when we said he's like living the bachelor life? He pretty much said that Saturday, where he's like, this is what I do. Something comes to town, I go to it.
Have you seen Matt Rule out more publicly in 5 months than you did Scott Frost in 5 years?
Oh, God, yeah.
Because that job is the most recognizable person in the entire state of Nebraska. And not everybody is comfortable with being recognized every place you go. But he is fully embraced. He is about that life. And I don't think he ever takes off any Nebraska gear unless he's asked to wear a suit. And if he has a suit on, he probably has like a lapel.
Yeah.
But I got another question I'm going to ask about.
Frost even
Matt Rule
admitted that he had
a
to
little
wear,
bit
like, when he go to the grocery store, he would go, but he would always try to wear like a hat, like, and keep it a little bit lower. Like he admitted that he didn't always want to be recognized and just kind of wanted to go about his life, which I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I get it.
The guy takes so many selfies. Now, I don't see as many people asking for the autograph. More people want to have their picture taken with him, like at the event, the Jet Award Gala the other night. More people wanted their picture with him instead of asking for the autograph. And I know that the selfie has replaced the autograph.
Can't really post an autograph on social media.
But he has embraced it. He's like everywhere. He's about that life. And he was, sitting, front row at wrestling at PBA on Friday night.
I just wonder if he rolls through the Taco Bell parking lot at like 1 a.m.
That's Bill Snyder.
Like all of us other guys when we were living the bachelor life, living the single life. Like he goes to SmackDown. He's like, you know what? I'm going to go to Amigos. 1 a.m.
There you go. That's more Nebraska.
I'm gonna do a little Amigos here.
Now,
couple soft tacos.
He would
crispy burrito.
He would elevate Devaney Osborne rule if the old Amigos on the edge of campus was still open and he was there at 1 a.m.
I know that one.
Yeah,
visiting friends.
It's been closed.
Yeah,
I've heard of that one.
It's just so easily.
I got so many scoops there. There'd be athletes coming there. You got Coach Jimmy Williams who'd be buying athletes food.
Was that
have Sheriff Woody?
Was that the location where the infamous salsa bar
Oh,
incident took
yes.
place? Okay,
Oh,
I
yeah.
figured it was that one.
You wanted to see half nudity and get scoops from Husker athletes? That was the place to go.
Amigos was the after hours water cooler.
I actually went there one time because somebody wanted to get into the agent business and they wanted to talk to a Husker football player. And they said, hey, do you know him? So I'm like, I think he goes to Amigos because he goes to Sandy's and then stops at Amigos on his way home.
Did it work? Was he
Dude,
there?
I was a player. No, he didn't. Yeah,
just not that time.
My buddy was missing a lot of the infrastructure of being an agent, like actually being a lawyer. Like he just wanted to be an agent.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, can you go talk to this guy for me?
Saw Jerry Maguire. And
I'm like, no. So yeah, if the old Amigos was open and Matt Rule was there at 1 a.m. just hanging with the co-eds and everybody else and buying people food, Osborne, Devaney, Rule. That's how I would rank it.
That would be the situation too. You know how you go to the coffee, pay it forward thing. It's big in the coffee world. Oh, he would have whoever was behind him in the Amigos drive-through. I bet he would like just pay for everybody. Here's a couple C notes, and then you get your food because we tend to over order at 1 a.m. Just happens, and you're like, okay, got about a $20 tab here. You're like, all right,
be like that.
Who got me? Some gentleman up ahead. Didn't recognize him.
He works at the university.
Speaking of Amigos, real quick here. Why, when you go to Hy-Vee, because Hy-Vee is carrying Amigos food, why is it like $5 more?
Is it $5 more?
Oh, it's expensive.
I've never bought anything. I've never bought the Amigos food there, but I have when we've got
pretty
wings,
recent
I've
too.
gotten the ranch, and that was like $5, but it's a big thing of ranch, so I figured it was probably
It doesn't taste the same as getting it from actually Amigos. Though.
Yeah, we bought the cheese.
It's pretty close.
It is?
Yep.
Okay, now that's not
Pretty
easy to
close.
do.
Nope, it's not.
That's encouraging.
Yeah, I would recommend it if you're looking for that ranch in volume.
Damn, I'm hungry.
So a couple of more weekends of spring football around the country, like Nebraska plays this weekend, and they'll have 60+ thousand. The weather's not going to be fantastic. They'll have 60,000 plus for the spring game. Ohio State, they had 75,000. They're making a big deal of it. Nebraska's had 91 time. Colorado will sell out for the first time in 400 years. Anybody that's getting at me about Colorado, just tell me who your quarterback was in 2001 on Black Friday. Thank you. I'll hang up and listen. But something or nothing over the weekend.
Bobby
I'm
Pesavento.
going to take credit for this. Is my first observation about the Colorado football team being small. I'm pretty sure I was the first person to bring this up. And then everybody's like, yeah.
Everyone's on board now?
Yeah, this is interesting.
Tiny dudes.
And so much that, our guys here, we have created a Twitter account, Tiny Baby Buffs. We now have 74 followers.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Now, this isn't, we didn't do it, but
still.
Yeah, the afternoon guys did it. So Tiny Baby Buffs is a actual Twitter account, and it's the Itsy Bitsy Tweeny Weeny Black and Gold Baby Buffs. Something or nothing. This weekend on social media, the Colorado football account actually acknowledged everybody making comments about the size of the Colorado players. Instead of running away from it.
You're looking at the avatar picture too.
You guys haven't seen this yet?
No, I hadn't noticed yet. Oh, I'm following it.
This is the content I want on my Twitter.
But I don't know that they've
It's
got
little Prime Dutton.
So they need the Colorado fan who is getting angry with me to respond. But the Colorado football account actually has acknowledged this and tried to have some fun with it. But anybody that you bring this up to, and the 4 people that follow Colorado football religiously, including one of them
here
in this building, and Josh, is these are their 2 arguments now when you start making fun about the size of the Colorado players. One, by the way, Deion's kid, who's the quarterback, and Travis Hunter, they haven't gained any weight since high school.
No.
Travis Hunter is a legit 6'1", 165. That's what he was in high school.
Man, must be nice.
I don't know if they lifted weights or not at Jackson State. But here's the 2 things now that the Colorado fan will push back on you. And I think it was kind of interesting that they acknowledged the chatter that is out there about the size of their team and all these videos. Is one, you brought this up, Nick, the cap that they're wearing on top of the padded helmet makes guys look smaller.
It does.
How?
I'm not saying they are not small. I'm just saying it does. So it makes the head. You got a helmet on. That already makes your head look obviously a little bit bigger than it is. Then you add basically another like pretty thick layer to it. So the head just gets a little bit bigger. So any type of mass, like I think it just kind of narrows your body naturally. Like just the initial eye, you're going to see a much more narrow body initially. So yeah, I think it does. Just first glimpse when you see those bulbous heads, you're seeing probably a more narrow frame than you normally would without helmet.
Now, here's the other thing. I'm going to need the scientists out here to help me on this. This is what I get from a Colorado fan that is pushing back on the size or lack thereof on their current football team. And heck, they had 5 guys go in the portal yesterday. So they're going to have like essentially a whole new team come the fall, which
Prime Dutton said so.
I mean, chemistry, probably not a big thing, whatever. You're a 20.5-point underdog against TCU to kick off the Deion era.
Stones ain't yellow.
Is not having numbers on the jerseys also makes guys look small?
Yes.
I'm no scientist. I haven't stayed in a Holiday Inn in months. I'm gonna have to need some convincing on that one.
I'm gonna say that one I will resist more than the extra layer, the helmet shells theory.
It's a total package.
Because I remember when I played Pee Wee football and when we would scrimmage against different teams and nobody would have numbers on, just had their regular practice jerseys. And there were some dudes that were enormous. And I didn't need having no number didn't make them look smaller. They were just big dudes. They were large individuals. So that did not.
You say something, Sugar?
Yeah, there's a flat top over there. Like that didn't dissuade me into thinking, oh, this guy ain't so big. So yeah, no, I pushed back a little bit on that one.
So it's Chris Fowler and RG3 are doing the game. Right,
I got to watch this just to see how tiny they are.
So RG3 did the Texas game, and he's already said that Texas is going to win the Big 12 and compete for the national championship.
I say that every year.
Well, I don't know. Since they won the national championship, they've started the preseason in the top 25, 13 times? And 4 times they have finished unranked.
Mm-hmm.
That's not easy to do.
No.
So I'm sure by the end of their broadcast on Saturday from Boulder, Colorado will be winning the Pac-12.
And Big 12. 2 conferences.
Did Nick make this? I need to know who made this Twitter account.
Watch. It's everyone looks at Nick and Josh, and it's John the whole time.
Oh, it wouldn't shock me if it's John too.
See, what they need to do is they need to get engagement from Colorado fans. But maybe Colorado fans are okay with this because they did acknowledge it, which, I mean, everybody now is talking about the lack of size in Boulder.
You heard it here first.
And Colorado would probably, shy away from it, but they did acknowledge it over the weekend.
Right. That's something. If it's just some yahoos like ourselves or mid-mornings or afternoons that are talking about this is one thing. But when you get a little rabbit ears when you're also maybe hearing it a little closer to home. Yet you're kind of pointing at, well, you're in Nebraska, so that's why you're saying it. I would venture to guess
saying it because your
that
guys
as
are
excited
tiny.
as Colorado fans are right now, they're probably seeing the same thing that you are. Then in the back of their head, they're like,
Gary Barnett didn't recruit any tiny dudes.
Yeah, we don't that big.
See, I think they will have, as long as Deion is there, I don't think they will have large skill athletes. I think their skill guys will be relatively small. But even their linemen on their video are the ones that also stand out. But they had some fun with it over the weekend.
Yeah, they did.
That broadcast will be kind of interesting.
It's getting DVR'd.
Yeah, no, I thought you guys had seen this.
I did not know this.
No, I did not know this.
This is on Friday or Saturday?
Now they have 76 followers.
I mean, I remember the other tiny controversy with the other shows. I didn't know that kind of shifted now. Oh, but I missed that.
The mini Prime Dutton is my favorite.
All right, update time with Jimmy. Amy Just coming up at 8:30. Our hoop heads, Jacob Bigelow, Nebraska basketball. 5 weeks ago, they were playing in the Big Ten tournament. The Vibe 5 weeks later. Jacob will join us. Joel Lorenzi as well in the last hour. Here's Jimmy.
Nebraska bowling's quest for 7th NCAA title ended Sunday afternoon as the Corn Rollers lost 2-0 to Vanderbilt in the elimination match of the NCAA championship. I was all excited to watch some bowling Saturday night. That's not sarcasm. It really was. The Commodores edged the Huskers in a traditional match, 11-15 to 10-9 before completing the mega match sweep. Not just a regular match sweep. It is a mega match sweep with a 1096 to 1020 victory in a 5-game Baker match. I don't know what any of that means, but they lost. Vanderbilt went on to win the national championship, defeating Arkansas State. No word if Screaming Fan was in attendance. More positive, uplifting news for you on a Monday. The Corn Crushers belted a ballpark record 7 home runs and clinched the... How in the hell did they do that with all the wind yesterday? It must have been blowing out. Clinched the series sweep with an 18-5 win.
It
must have been. It was like 35 miles an hour.
My dog almost blew back to Kansas yesterday evening. So
Infield pop-ups were hitting the warning track.
18-5 win against Northwestern. Completed the sweep at Hawks Field. The 7 home runs are the most by a Huskers team in a single game since crushing 6 in game 1 of a doubleheader against Southern Utah way back on March 6, 2001 in Cedar City, Utah. The Huskers' 14 extra base hits on Sunday afternoon are the most in the game by the Big Red since tallying 14 against Creighton on May 18th of 2010. Nebraska scored 18 runs on 20 hits and an error, while Northwestern had 5 runs on 8 hits. Huskers now 21, 11-1, 7-2 in the Big Ten. They're in first place. Northwestern falls to 5-26 and 3-6 in the Big Ten. Nebraska hosts Creighton tomorrow night at 7. Giannis Antetokounmpo was ruled out for the remainder of Sunday's 130 to 117 Game 1 loss to the Miami Heat with a lower back contusion. He had a nasty fall in the first half. Bucks coach Mike Budenholzer said after the first round matchup that Giannis had an X-ray that came back clear. According to genius Reggie Miller, this is more important. Miami Heat guard Tyler Hero broke his right hand while diving for a loose ball during the second quarter of the same game. He crashed to the floor after he was unsuccessful in trying to chase down a loose ball during the final minute of the first half. Stayed in the game until halftime, but was in clear discomfort holding his right hand while on the court before attempting a three-pointer late with about 30 seconds to go. Once he missed the rim badly on the shot attempt, he winced in pain, was taken out, didn't return to the game. Heat coach Eric Spoelstra says Hero won't play in Game 2. It's a day-to-day deal with a broken hand's kind of important. No word on Ja Morant, although they did say that the x-rays came back negative, but he was still holding that wrist and hand on the bench when he came back late in the fourth quarter of their loss to the Lakers in Game 1. And as you said earlier, the Grizzlies might be in some big trouble. A lot of injuries. If they end up losing Ja, Steven Adams isn't playing. NBA likes it, though. That means LA hangs around.
Thanks, Jimmy. A weird situation has come out after the Clippers beat the Phoenix Suns last night. You see Russell Westbrook, who has had a tendency to get in with fans.
Yeah.
Did you see where he went at halftime? There's a suite behind the Suns bench. Russell Westbrook.
Okay. Is this where he was dancing with them?
No. He confronted a fan at halftime.
No, that would have been nice.
He went into this suite.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. There was a Clippers staff member between the individual that, Westbrook F-bombed and Westbrook. It's a very odd look.
At halftime at that.
Yeah, at halftime. He walked into the suite to confront this fan.
Wow.
He had quite the day yesterday.
Wow.
He had a typical Russell Westbrook day.
3 of 19, but that play at the end of the game saving the ball off Booker was... that means everything. It's the whole experience in one game.
And they
you
won.
You got full Russ.
But he was in somebody's suite.
I would have offered him something to eat. You want something to eat? Something to drink?
He didn't look like a guy that wanted anything to eat. He wanted a piece of somebody.
He wanted to confront.
Why is everybody angry? Everybody beating each other up at the White Sox games.
Yeah.
Russell is confronting people in their suites.
I mean, it's par for the course of
The White Sox game, yeah. That one is less surprising. Hey, real quickly, when Jimmy mentioned the amount of home runs yesterday, too, it just made me think of not even close to this blowout yesterday, but the 99 50-3 Chicago State game. Were you on the call?
No, we did. We did the first game of that doubleheader.
Oh, God.
I was long gone.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Because I knew that would have been right around the time you were doing Husker baseball, and I just meant to ask you, were you on the 50-3?
The first game, they scored 24, I think, in the first game. I don't know. It was an awful game. Well, yesterday, by the way, Big Ten. How about a run rule?
Yes.
How about not? Hey, we need the coaches to agree. We need a run rule in the Big Ten.
I think, especially on Sundays, I think there should be.
We'll get into Nebraska baseball after their weekend and what is ahead. And if you had one vote for Big Ten Player of the Year and it had to be a Nebraska player, who are you going with? The second baseman or the shortstop? All of that to come. Amy Just makes her debut on 1620, coming up at about 8:30. When we come back, Matt Rule said something very interesting after practice on Saturday. Well, he said a couple of things, but one in particular about this current group that he is a week away from unveiling to the public. We'll dive into that when we return. It's Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Hey, time flies. In DJ's Dugout, they are celebrating 30 years serving you in the Omaha metro area. That's right. Happy anniversary, DJ's Dugout, their 30-year anniversary. And they want to say thank you to the Omaha Metro for your amazing support since 1993. DJ's truly loves the communities they serve, and it's an honor to serve their friends and guests for so many years. And you know what? They are all over the community. 7 metro area locations. Perfect time of the year to get your teams out there, get all of your Major League Baseball, postseason NBA, and NHL fix on as well with great daily food and drink specials, Vietnam and locally owned. It is DJ's Dugout. Dig in at the Dugout.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. The Connor Happer Show.
We don't talk enough about Cracker Jack being mentioned every 7th inning stretch, being the best ad placement of all time.
Great day.
Is Cracker Jack the worst ballpark snack?
Like, even out of the snacks, it's like the 5th best option. They get a free entry into every ballpark in America. You go up to the concession stand, it doesn't matter what game you take, and I get a bag of Cracker Jack, and they're like, sure, nobody's bought one in 14 years.
The Connor Happer Show, weekdays from 10 to 2 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from Canoyer Garden Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Sunny skies and warmer temperatures as we start the work week with a high in Omaha today of 66 degrees. A little breezy this morning, but calmer this afternoon with winds out of the northwest up to 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tonight, staying mostly clear, but becoming breezy. A low near 40 degrees and easterly winds up to 15 to 20 miles an hour. For your Tuesday, warmer still with a high of 73, mostly sunny to partly cloudy with a chance of storms tomorrow night after 7 p.m. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
Check out Kugler Vision Spring Break Spectacular LASIK Savings at KuglerVision.com.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Zoom Drain Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have one accidental report at 50th and L Street, so please be cautious if you're in that area. On Dodge, it looks like things are slowing down just a little bit from 94th to 90th, and along Industrial Road, be prepared for a little bit of a delay near 149th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Kinghorn Gardens.
At Kinghorn Gardens, they do things differently. They know who they are and what they do. They've been transforming outdoor spaces for 30 plus years, and they're looking for difference makers to join them. Become more familiar with them and the positions they have open at kinghorngardens.com.
Duck Defense Midwest makes your home healthier and improves the life of your HVAC system. So improve the health of your home and everyone in it. Go to cleanairradio.com for a special duct cleaning offer for Zone listeners. That's cleanairradio.com.
Public schools are the cornerstones of our communities, and it's communities that ensure students have great public schools. I'm Jenny Benson, president of the Nebraska State Education Association. Learning happens at home, in school, and everywhere in between. We all have a role to play in supporting student learning in the classroom and beyond. Help us make this the best school year yet.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association in this station.
The Zone Inbox is brought to you by Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. Email me, Connor Happer, with the Connor Happer Show at Connor, CONNOR, at 1620thezone.com. Send me your love, your hate, and maybe a few hot takes. The Zone Inbox, presented by Equitable Bank.
Don't wait until the last minute to get what you'll need for your camping trip. At Leach Camper Sales, we have everything you'll need. And if we don't, we'll find it, guaranteed. Come see me, Big Bob, and the parts guys at Leach Camper Sales in Council Bluffs. And of course,
don't forget the coffee's always on.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method. So in no time, you can start speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México en 2 días y ahora hablamos español.
Gracias, Babbel.
Sí, muchas gracias.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
Head to 1620thezone.com to enter to win a Golf Essentials bundle. Includes a golf trunk organizer, laser rangefinder, $100 to Dick's Sporting Goods, and $250 to Top Golf. Plus, when you win a Woodhouse Wednesday prize pack, you'll be automatically entered to win the grand prize of $2,600. Mark your calendars for this Wednesday, April 19th. Get all the details at 1620thezone.com.
All right, it's Patriots Day in Boston. The Boston Marathon is getting ready to start. There are 72 participants that are from the state of Nebraska. But part of Patriots Day is, while the marathon is going on, the Red Sox play a morning game, and they are playing the Angels, and Ohtani is pitching today. Last year of Ohtani and Trout together, and the Angels are off to a roaring 7-8 start.
Yep.
Then the Bruins play tonight. So it's a good day in Boston. Before we get into something that Matt Rule said after the scrimmage on Saturday, Doug writes into his own inbox.
Morning,
the
Doug.
Equitable Bank inbox, where Doug and the gang take banking personally, and they'll always answer on the first ring. If you don't believe him, try him. He says, Gary, where'd you get that hat? I've never seen the red corn cob.
It's nice.
It is a Nebraska Prospects baseball hat.
That's what I thought it was, yeah.
It's a flat bill. I don't necessarily look good in
No,
a
you
flat
pulled off.
bill.
Yeah, you pulled off, yeah.
Look, makes me look younger. But,
Well, you got the vest on, you got the flat bill. Yeah. You pulled it off,
yeah, I
man.
put pants on today, which I
it's
did
a
not
pants
think I'd have
day.
to
It
go
is a
back
pants
to
day.
pants.
It's a pants day.
Does the date of the spring game, 4/22/23, with the portal date being 4/15, help or hurt us? Or neutral? That is such a great sports talk question. Well, all right, let's create debate. Nick, you take that it hurts Nebraska immensely. I'll say, I'm neutral. Jimmy, you go, It helps us. It's so in a different world. Matt Rule actually wanted the spring game to be later.
Yeah, next
like
week.
at the end of next week.
Mm-hmm.
But the way the calendar
Supposed to be
worked out,
70 that
it's
weekend.
and remember, that's true. And this is a little bit later than Nebraska normally plays their spring game.
Mm-hmm.
And I wonder if the adjustment will be how people do their spring, considering the portal. But anybody that is thinking about portaling has probably already made up their mind. And Saturday in a spring game, when they put on a show, or they don't put on a show, they play real football, they're already gone. Okay.
Yeah.
Or they already know their pecking order, and if they're going to play and if they're happy, or if they're going to move on.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it necessarily affects it like that. It does make it a little bit awkward. Alante Brown is the first to go into the portal. Could not get back. Well, I shouldn't say it that way. He had to appeal to get back into school.
Yeah.
And he'd been away from the team since the end of the season last fall. And maybe a tiny bit of a surprise that he didn't come back. The door was open, but it's probably good for him to get a fresh start somewhere else. So that can be a little bit awkward, but I think next Sunday, Monday will be guys that are going to leave Nebraska to go and to continue their football career. That'll be a busy, busy day. So I don't know. I think by now you know if you're going to go or not.
Yeah, I not to take the easy way out on that question from Doug. Appreciate the question. I'm pretty indifferent. I think I don't think it is a great impact one way or the other, because I think to some extent, knowing that there is a period when you start spring ball, you probably kind of have an idea. Now, if you're in that mindset of, I'm going to, I've been on the fence. Let's see how this coaching staff and the amount of reps I get. Let's see how I kind of stack up with maybe some of the new faces. And, maybe there's some injuries at your position. See if you can utilize the reps where it looks like maybe you're gaining ground. I think you're always going to probably look at that from that standpoint. And also, even if you know that, yeah, I'm not going to be around, but I'm going to take advantage of the opportunity to stay in good football shape, go through reps, and be that much more crisp to the next place I go. I would agree. I think you kind of know that, and I don't think whether the spring game was last week or at the end of the month of April or somewhere, as early as like Michigan had it, I just don't think there is really a true pro and con to when you have it, because this day and age, you pretty much have a good idea of where it's going to go for you.
And we know, because all three of us have been around coaches. Sometimes they'll tell us like they already kind of know who's going and who's not. It's just a matter of it happening.
Hey, wide receiver. So Alante Brown is out, and they've got an abundance of wide receivers. I keep an eye on Victor Jones. I don't know if Sean Hardy can play at Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
So he's someone to watch.
Which is disappointing, because he was part of those three guys with Neville and Grimes when they all came in at the same time. 6'3" plus guys that you're like, one of these guys has to pan it. Just their size alone, and it just you're down to one of those guys left. And
it's poor evaluation.
Mm-hmm.
Guys can't play in the Big Ten.
Oh.
Okay, no offense to them, but it was poor evaluation, or evaluation where, okay, once they get on campus, we'll be able to develop them.
Develop, exactly.
And not every guy failing is on the coaching staff. There are some guys that just they can't play at this level, or they didn't follow through on their commitment to follow the process and get better.
Yep.
So, but he's a guy that I don't know where he fits, but it's clearly, and again, there's quite a few players that are in the portal. I mean, Georgia has a defensive tackle that's a starter, has played quite a bit. Oklahoma State has an offensive lineman. I mean, there's some intriguing prospects that are in there. I'm just looking at, if you want to go into a whole deep dive, some of the players that Nebraska's recruiting staff have started to follow. It's clear they're looking for offensive line, defensive line, linebacker, and wide receiver. So if they're looking for a wide receiver, there's got to be more that are coming off the board that are on the current roster.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to piece things together. The last part of Doug's question in the Equitable Bank inbox: any news from the 2 guard visits to Creighton this weekend? Refresh your browser. Let's see what happens.
Yeah, let me get to the Creighton still.
If Ashworth and
nothing.
Rhodey say yes to Creighton, be very excited. Creighton, but hasn't
Okay.
gotten to announce it yet. But I don't know why he would not come to Creighton. We'll ask Joe Alorenzi when he joins us a little bit later. All right, so after the scrimmage on Saturday, and I like how Matt Rule approached what they're going to do with the spring game about going 1v1, 2v2. Now, a little bit will depend on the health, because if they don't have enough offensive linemen to run two teams, then that could weigh into how they restructure the game. But you're going to see physicality. Okay, they're going to hit, and I can't recall, and can you, Nick, recall the last time the Nebraska's quarterbacks were live in a spring game?
No. I was trying to think about that, even when he hinted at that 2 weeks ago, when he said if they're live on Thursdays, they might as well be live during that. I was trying to remember, was there one spring game that involved Tommy Armstrong? It is kind of where I thought maybe they went live.
I don't know. I just have visions of every quarterback being in green. We might have to go back to the 90s to find like a real true, no gimmicky.
I actually was going to say, were you
thing.
possibly on the sidelines at the time?
I don't recall much. I mean, like, my memories of spring games are a little bit limited. Like, one of my highlights is Ken Hamilton. You know, they used to, when Pavelka was doing the games, they'd bring like a journalist on in the third quarter, and Ken Hamilton asked if he could do some play-by-play.
Oh,
and Pavelka was like, whatever.
Go for it, man.
And Tommy Frazier was playing quarterback. So that might be the last time. So Frazier got tackled, and Ken goes, down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. And Pavelka loses it on the air. He goes, you can't say that. So, I mean, my memories of the spring game are more of the obscure player that does like really, really well.
Yeah.
Like Joe Cornwell back in the day, Todd Gragnano, like Breon Carnes. Jamal Turner flipping into the end zone.
Yep.
You know, those kind of like things. But I think you might have to go back to the 90s.
There's a lot of good Wyatt Mazur highlights too.
Yeah. Like the spring games are made for the Ty Hans of the world.
Yep.
Now, I say this, Alex Bullock has had a really good spring. By the way, his brother needs to be on scholarship. His brother's a dude. John Bullock from Creighton Prep is a dude, needs to be on scholarship. Hopefully I can help out the family and Rules.
Hey, Matt Rules, he said they got guys that are walk-ons that should be on scholarship.
You'll be listening. Good morning, Matt.
So here's one of the things he said. And they're going to play a spring game that I think will make most people happy. You know, because you're going to see the quarterbacks are going to be live.
Mm-hmm.
He said this after the scrimmage. We are definitely further ahead in our overall progress than I expected. I'm so fired up where we are. We're in a great place. It's just that I want to win a bunch of games. They want to win a bunch of games. So we have to keep accelerating, man. We won't win at the level we want if we turn the ball over. And the offense put the ball on the carpet quite a bit on Saturday. He has referenced. So this is kind of a thing that it's true, but sometimes you don't acknowledge it out loud, that they're a 4-8 football team. Okay, they were 4-8. You can't run away from. They were 4. The guys that were here last year were 4-8. But when he says they're definitely further ahead, I'm curious on where he thought they would be. Now, situational football is huge to this guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this is from day one at Temple to Baylor to Carolina, now at Nebraska. Situational football, time and score, awareness, if you're in a helmet or a headset, is like on the top of his list of things you've got to be good at. And that's tough probably in these settings to get a real good feel of how good they are in situational football. We're not going to know until August 31st. But I wonder where he actually thought they would be compared to where they are now.
Well, the vibe I got Saturday when he spoke after practice is from the situational standpoint that they still had a lot of work to do. Now, so I don't know if he means from the situational standpoint they're ahead of where he thought they were going to be, or just collectively as a team with the 15 practices, and then you couple that on top of the winter workouts that they're ahead as a team. So that to me was a little bit more vague because, and you're kind of alluding to this, he was nerding out. He even said it. He's nerding out over the situational opportunities this week because of the Thursday practice they're going to try to do under the lights. And they're just going to, because they can't have contact, that they're just going to really ram home a lot more situational things. And then he alluded to the spring game. He wants to see how the guys sort of handle their business getting ready for the spring game. You know, do they get a little bit more, fancy? Are they, doing different things than what they've been doing here? And it kind of came back to situations. And I think that's probably part of what he's looking forward to on Saturday with the amount of fans that are going to be there compared to what they've seen in the 14 previous practices. But you could tell that I would agree that there's a passion for it. But I'm curious if that's exactly what he was talking about when he said that they were further ahead than where he thought they'd be from a situational standpoint, or even from like a retention of, especially offensively with the plays. I thought it was a little bit more vague when he said that. So I'm curious where he does think they are ahead. Like in what facet of this team does he think they're ahead of where he thought, as opposed to where he actually thought this team would be at this point?
He's, and I've said this a couple of times. So I'm glad that he has a sense of urgency. Like, he doesn't want to be 3-4 wins this fall. I've already said 6 wins are attainable.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm very leery to go above 6 because I'm worried about their depth of talent. Now they have some dudes, but they don't have enough dudes. So there's a lot of ifs before you ever get to the season. But his sense of urgency, like he has a goal to make Nebraska football relevant again. And I think he has tried to stress that to guys that have been here much longer than he has. So I'm wondering if the DNA that he's trying to put into place in the weight room, in the classroom, in the position room, in the group room, on the field, if that is further along. I also think that he might have acquired a team that is more coachable than maybe on the outside he thought they would be going through the kind of season they went last year. And I also wonder, and these are only questions that he can answer, and there wasn't really a follow-up when he said we're definitely further ahead, is if he thinks the talent is better on the current roster now that he's had a chance to work with them instead of watching them on film. That leads him to say we're definitely further ahead. But I would think that the DNA that he wants in this program is probably been installed quicker, and the response to him has probably been quicker than maybe he was expecting.
I think those are all possible because I think anytime you go in, and I think he said a lot of the right things. And in fact, by the way, he did even credit the previous coaching staff and even their previous high school coaches when it came to where these guys are when it comes to just the basics of those situations that we were just talking about. So he did give him some credit, but also, kind of rare, gave praise to the former coaching staff in Nebraska. But I think that he early in the process when he talked about, the 4-8 team, he talked about a lot of good things that he saw, but it's one thing when you're kind of seen on film and you're seeing them in, maybe a limited capacity than where you actually get a chance to work out with them, where maybe there is more than meets the eye there, or more than what he expected. But I still continue to just kind of marvel on the fact that he knows the exact buttons to push, but it's authentic because of that attention to detail. We talk about the things that have kind of left this program over, really the last decade when it comes to, even at the end of Bo, when you're winning 9 games, there was still at times in critical moments, there was not always the attention to detail where it could have been, or as sharp as it could have been. And so for a guy that I think preaches that, I'm just so fascinated to see what this current group, and then the way that they recruit and continue to drive that home, what that does to this program. Because I've always been under the belief that this team has not fallen short of bowl bids and being in the Big Ten West conversation because they just don't have the talent. I've never believed in that. It was just the undisciplined nature or the inability to have that attention to detail or those, going back to the situation. So I think it's very possible that there could be either more talent than what he thought, and now they're kind of seeing that in more of a structured environment on how that's coming together. Because when you have dudes, and he brought this up, everybody assumes if you're a good team, you've just got good players. And he said, well, yeah, but it's good teams make good decisions. And I wonder if you're starting to see some guys that we've always heard that are pretty talented, maybe been put in some situations, but now are starting to understand the situational part of it. So you're getting maybe better, consistent results with that too. I'm not sure. It's fascinating, though, to say the very least, on where they kind of are in his estimate.
One guy to keep an eye on this Saturday that you bring, we've talked about Ben Hart, but going back to your point. So I want to see Gilbert. I want to see Fedoni. I want to see John Bullock. And then, and Prince Will, who, if you haven't bought stock, go ahead and buy stock. Nebraska may have finally found the next beast that gets after the passer or wreaks havoc on defense. But he's young. So go ahead and buy stock if you haven't. Most of you have because you had him in your Super 6. Is Javier Morton is one of those guys.
Yeah,
Javier Morton has had a really good spring, and he's been at a couple of different positions. He's an athlete. And so that guy was probably on the scrap heap, or it was like, okay, what's going to happen with him? So that DNA all of a sudden triggered somebody. When we get past Saturday, when we get into the offseason and whatever Nebraska's roster looks like, and we get to like July 1, I will be fascinated to hear the national discussion about this football program. Because you're starting to see it now. Dennis Dodd was here. Rule was just on a podcast with Andy Staples at The Athletic. He's doing a lot more national stuff this week. Is when we get to July 1, what will be the national response to Nebraska? Will it be, you know what, it's a rebuilding? Or has Rule convinced people that, yeah, it's year one, but it's year one that could be at least a bowl game and playing in December? All right, 49 past the hour. There's Nick. Jimmy here as well. Amy Just coming up from the Lincoln Journal-Star in the next hour. Also, we'll chat with Jacob Bigelow as Fred Hoiberg has had quite the turnaround in 5 weeks. Hoiberg just had a really good week, one of his better weeks that he's had at Nebraska. So Jacob will stop by coming up at 9, and Joel Lorenzi will be in as well. Good Q&A between Tom and Mac in the World Herald. A lot of it had to do with Nemhart. We took a trip to Gonzaga before he'll take a trip to Arizona. And unlike what Nick said earlier, not coming to Nebraska.
You tried to stir. You had to go all in to really get people believing it.
It doesn't always have to be Angry Monday. It can be Silly Monday.
What are you doing, like a Tim Seaton?
Just dropping stuff. Seeing what it's an experiment.
How many other sports, like baseball?
Experiment.
Baseball, I guess I know a little bit more that there have been guys that have played for both Creighton and Nebraska. Any other sports? I mean, they had Connie Ori.
Yeah.
She didn't play. She didn't play for Nebraska, but head coach from one place to the other.
Oh, yeah. Why am I just totally blanking? Yeah, you mentioned baseball. Warren, who pitched for both Creighton and Nebraska.
Tim Seaton is the one that immediately comes to mind.
Yeah, I can't think of.
Maybe some of you had a basketball player.
Yeah.
Like not just end of the bench to the end of the bench.
Right, like a starter.
But somebody that was a significant that went to the other school.
Yeah, 6-man to starter or vice versa.
Yeah. If that happened, Jacob would light up a cigar.
Folks, I'm not suggesting.
No, he won't fall for it.
It was just having some fun today.
Nebraska Twitter would tell you they would take McCollum over Nemhart. I kid because I care. This morning's with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. Hey, place that cares a lot about you is Woodhouse Buick GMC. Shop there first and experience the difference. They got a large indoor showroom, which allows you to find all the new and pre-owned vehicles that fit your needs at 119th and I. Check out the stylish SUVs that fit the whole family comfortably. You know, the capable trucks that'll get the job done for business or pleasure. Simply, they have at Woodhouse Buick GMC something for everyone, and they've made the car buying process simple. They've streamlined it online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. You can chat with an online sales team member, view the inventory, complete a credit application, schedule a test drive, and right now, great deals to the end of the month. You got to see the dealer for details, but you can save $3,000 off MSRP on the 22 GMC Sierra, the 1500 SLT, or $1,750 off MSRP on the 23 Buick Envision. Again, these expire at the end of the month. In store, 119th and I, or online at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. GMC, we are professional grade.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Big names, big games. We've got them all. 1620 The Zone.
Ever walk through a door and see all the trucks? Yeah, It's kind of like that at Gretna Auto Outlet. Half-ton trucks, three-quarter-ton trucks, dualies, gas or diesel. Gretna Auto Outlet will be happy to show it to you. They don't call it truck heaven for nothing, you know. Stop in the climate-controlled comfort of the indoor showroom or online with the virtual showroom at GretnaAuto.com. Gretna Auto Outlet, open Sundays too, just north of Nebraska Crossing on Highway 6 in Gretna.
Hi, this is Kathy Kenoyer with Kenoyer Garden Center. The beauty and color of spring is in our greenhouse, featuring thousands of gorgeous hanging baskets and hundreds of varieties of Kenoyer grown product. Come in and talk with our family of employees who will help you find what you're looking for. Whether it's home decor, annuals, perennials, shrubs, tropicals, or vegetables, we have it all. Kenoyer Garden Center is located between Highway 370 and Cornhusker on 66th Street in Papillion. Open daily, 9 to 7.
At Kenoyer Garden Center, everybody's got a green thumb.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things. Because we believe there's an innovator in all of us. For advice on smart PCs powered by Intel V Pro that's built for business, call a Dell Technologies advisor at 877-ASK-DELL.
PACE, Police Athletics for Community Engagement Organization, is dedicated to preventing at-risk and disadvantaged inner-city children from becoming involved in street gangs, crime, drug use, and victimization. Last year, PACE served over 5,000 area kids with wholesome competition and free participation in soccer, baseball, CrossFit, and flag football. To help PACE and local families make sure kids have access to safe and fun spring and summer activities, please go to paceomaha.org to support the PACE mission. Thank you.
1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings with Sharp and Handley returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone.
We'll talk about the weekend of baseball around here coming up in the next hour. But I think that at the Georgetown Creighton game, they've hit another home run. So every time I saw a tweet from the Creighton baseball account, it was someone hitting a home run. Can you be considered a real baseball program, talking to you, Georgetown, if it is 375 to center field?
No.
Is that the Little League World Series?
Well,
it was 330 down the lines, 375 to center field for the weekend series when Creighton played in the nation's capital this weekend.
Is that the district's biggest city park? No, isn't it Georgetown that they play?
Villanova plays in a city.
Oh, it's
park.
Villanova. Okay, I knew one of the two played in like a Lake Zorinsky type setting.
That place was a bandbox.
Yeah.
Fortunately for Creighton, after leading 11-0, they got outscored 32-8 the rest of the way and lost 2 of 3. But how can you play in that ballpark? Every ball that was hit in the air, you thought it was going out. I watched a little bit of the stream. Yeah, everything off the bat.
Oh God.
It was like, okay, caught at the wall.
Everyone's playing like your center fielder is actually playing at the track. I feel for Ed.
There was a huge game tomorrow night for Creighton and Nebraska. And Creighton coming back from D.C. and then having to go to Lincoln. Oh, midweek mess. Better not be that case. Also in baseball yesterday, Garrett Cole struck out 10. So it's the 23rd time he struck out 10 or more. Garrett Cole, who is my Cy Young Award pick, has never won that award. He's got a 0.95 ERA. He is absolutely dealing. And yesterday, him and Lopez were battling it out in the Minnesota Yankees series. And the Yanks ended up winning 2-0. Did you catch the video of him? And he also threw one of those rare complete games. I mean, rare,
it's very rare
complete games.
Mhm.
Did you catch the video of him in the dugout between innings eating a banana?
Mm-mm.
This is how quick games are now. I mean, we had a game yesterday. The Red Sox and the Angels played an hour and 57 minutes.
Wow.
And all of the Twins-Yankees games, the 4-game series, all of them were under 2.5 hours. If you go to a game in person this year, it flies by. It absolutely flies by. You recognize it more in person. So Michael Kay, they show Garrett Cole in the dugout. And to get a little energy between innings, he has a banana. And so they show him, and he has the banana in his hand. And then they go away and they show the play on the field, and they come back, and Garrett Cole has already inhaled the banana. So
you can't savor it anymore.
It took, and they were only at the live action for probably 5 seconds. So do you think that Garrett Cole did the thing that apparently is a trend, where you eat the whole banana, you take the stem off, but you eat the whole banana, peel and all? Or do you think he went with, as I am fascinated by the apes that eat bananas, so much that I'm thinking about applying to be a seasonal assistant at the Henry Dorley Zoo in the Great Ape Expo, where the ape will, with one hand, be able to peel it, pop out the banana in the mouth.
Yeah.
Man, that's like some Joey Chestnut
or
stuff.
Or do you think that he snapped it in half? Like, opened the banana, snapped it in half, snarf, snarf.
Like a normal person.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with
wait. Snapping the banana in half is
well,
like
like you snap the top and peel down.
Okay,
that's what you were talking about, right?
Okay.
The normal. Yeah.
Okay, I
I'm
got
going to assume the latter there because it's not that hard. It's not like peeling an orange. It's pretty easy to do with the banana, and you can. I feel like bananas, even as big as they are, they're pretty easy to take down fast. But wait a minute. It's a trend now to eat the banana with the peel on?
Yeah, it's probably on TikTok.
What?
Uh-huh. You eat the peel as well.
How could you get that down? How can you even chew on that?
I don't think you could do it with this. You have to take the stem off.
Well, I get that.
And it might be a little bit bitter.
But yeah, like the peel itself, that is still pretty tough.
This is the world your kid's going to grow up in.
Oh my
kids
God.
that eat the entire banana.
So on my TikTok, I'm getting a lot of animals eating.
Yeah.
Because I think I clicked on some penguins, and all of a sudden now
you and
my
your penguins.
page.
Yeah,
I got my gorillas.
That's okay.
You love a good penguin video.
So it's fascinating to watch like a gorilla eat, like how they like the food in their hand. So the gorilla eating a banana has become a really big thing where
they do it with one hand.
They do it with one hand, and the one I saw the other day brings it up to its mouth, and it bites into the peel, and then with one hand opens up the peel, takes out the whole banana, pops it in their mouth. And then there's another one. Then there's another one that eats the banana like he's eating a carrot. So a proper way to eat a banana, if you are
I could do that.
Garrett
All in one hand.
Cole, snap it in half.
Yeah.
Snarf, snarf.
That's what I think happened. But so the ape can do that with one hand. I'm assuming the nails probably aid him on that as well.
But they're smart enough to know that if they slice the peel,
that
they can just
pull it off.
Yeah,
and that's amazing. It's how I'm in awe of anybody. Maybe you or Jimmy. I don't know if you guys can do this, but the one-handed egg cracking, where you can just separate the egg. You see, like, I wouldn't even say chefs do it. I know people who are not chefs that can do that somehow, where they can just crack the egg with one hand, where they can just separate it. And I've always wanted to do that.
They teach you that, I think, in the chef school or something.
There's gotta be a trick to it. It's probably easier than I'm making it out to be. But I see people do that. I'm like, I want to do that.
Bob said you can eat banana peels. Yes, they do say it's safe as long as you wash them. You can eat the whole thing.
I'm trying to think about.
Don't you eat
how that would go down?
Don't you eat the skin of an apple or a pear?
Yeah, I do.
Saying,
but think of how thin that skin is compared to the thickness of a banana peel. That is like that would be
I've
hard
heard this
to
about
process.
the kiwi. Some people eat the skin, some people don't.
Really?
Yeah, fuzzy.
It's kind of the fuzziness.
Just try it one time. Like try it today. It'll be tough. It'll be bitter, but you can.
I've got that.
You can work your way through it.
Just got some.
Do it on the air tomorrow.
We'll
be on the stream, and people can watch you do it.
Should I try to do it tomorrow, or is that a Wednesday thing? Should I try to do that?
I guess that could be a Wednesday thing because you did have that nasty beer that one day.
Yeah. Okay, I'll try it on a Wednesday. Do I have to do the full one, or can I cut it in half and do it that way? Can I just
I don't know. I defer to you.
I don't know
Gary.
if I can do a full.
I think you got to do full.
Oh God.
I don't think you can do half. We don't do anything half-ass around here.
It's true.
All right.
We got to go full.
I'll bring in a banana on Wednesday, and I will eat it with the peel
Look at also, Nick, you're doing something great for all of our garbage haulers out there. You are
That is true.
reducing food waste by eating the peel.
Nick Handley,
But then
man of the people.
I'm really hurting our sewage.
Because of the fiber?
Well, that and that thing, I don't know how that's going to come out.
I'll make a 7-minute break. You'll be fine.
I'm not sure. I may not go for days. I might be backed up. Having that banana peel just sticking in there.
You could be a trend center.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, I thought this was a trend. Or not a trend, but it's something that's
He's
going
talking
on.
about at the Zone.
An Omaha trender.
Yeah.
Is this even a thing, or is this just a way to get me to
It's
try
a
and do
thing.
this?
The
Okay.
big N for the big O.
It is a thing. People are, like, you want a source of fiber and potassium and antioxidants.
Yeah.
These are all good things.
Also, it reduces cancer.
Hey, there you go.
The banana peel.
Eat the whole thing.
The banana. Okay, yeah, the banana peel. I'm sure that's what it does.
Amy Just makes her debut on 1620 at the bottom of the hour. Morning with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone. Hey, you can get in your favorite show, your favorite game. There's a lot of stuff going on in the area, whether it be the spring football game this weekend between Nebraska and Nebraska, or, of course, in the fall. And Tickets for Less has everything for you. They got the best selection of seats with zero per ticket fees. Zero per ticket fees. It's not like that other site or those other sites that all of a sudden you get to check out and you're like, no, never at ticketsforless.com. Plus, we're going to give you an even better deal. At your next checkout, use the promo code THEZONE, all one word, and you'll get an additional discount. We make it easy on you. Ticketsforless.com. Go there today. Get the seats you want to your favorite sporting event or your favorite show. And just remember to use the promo code at checkout, THEZONE at ticketsforless.com.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley returns in minutes on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Zoom Drain, time-saving traffic center. We're still getting reports of the accident along 50th and L Street, so please be cautious if you are in that area. Then along Highway 370, be prepared for a little bit of slowdown from Richland Drive to 90th. And on Center, be prepared for a significant delay from 183rd to 168th. As always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Fernando's.
Reason 83 to celebrate 30 years of Fernando's.
You just got your tax refund, and there's enough left over for tacos.
Winner of first place in 2023's Best of Omaha's Best Mexican Restaurant. Come in and get your Fernando's fix.
Acura of Omaha has more than 100 quality pre-owned vehicles, with most priced thousands below market value. Get our best price in just minutes at AcuraofOmaha.com. That's AcuraofOmaha.com.
Peerless Energy Systems is Nebraska and Iowa's locally owned and operated authorized solar air compressor distributor. Peerless Energy Systems provides products and solutions for compressed air systems, helping companies in manufacturing, food processing, transportation, auto body repair, car dealers, and more. Driving industry efficiency through service, support, and relationships, let Peerless Energy Systems help you increase efficiency with your compressed air systems today. PeerlessEnergy.com.
It's time to get registered for this year's annual Clausen Leahy Maverick Run on April 22nd at Baxter Arena. This race has something for every type of runner, with a 1-mile kids race, a 5K walk, and a 5K or 10K run. Plus, in conjunction with the kids race, there's a kids zone with a variety of activities inside Baxter Arena. The event starts at 8:30 a.m. on April 22nd. Go to omavs.com/Maverick Run to find out more information and to get registered. It's the Maverick Run at Baxter Arena, April 22nd. See you there.
Spring is a season of new beginnings, and Kinghorn Gardens has opportunities for you to build a new career with them. They've been transforming outdoor spaces for 30-plus years, and they're looking for difference makers to join them. They've defined what it means to be a full-service landscape company, and they take care of some of the most beautiful spaces in Omaha. Become more familiar with them and the positions they have open at kinghorngardens.com. That's kinghorngardens.com. At Kinghorn Gardens, they do things differently.
Tired of having a website that doesn't reflect the quality of your brand? At JM Online, we specialize in custom websites for unique business needs. Your website should be more than just a digital billboard. It should be a powerful tool that grows your business. Awarded Omaha's best web developers in 2023, we're dedicated to local business success. So if you're ready to take your website to the next level, go to jmonline.com and request a call.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no per ticket fees. Ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
Halftime brought to you by Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge, just off 680 and 48th Street, next to Cubby's. It's Hearth Cigars and Pipes Lounge.
John says, just because it is safe to eat a banana peel doesn't mean you should eat a banana peel.
Well, I got to see what this is about.
Better you than me?
Yeah, I'm.
We'll be here to watch.
I think this. Yeah.
In case anything happens.
Yeah.
Just have a warm beer to wash it down in case anything happens.
Oh, that would be even worse.
Yeah.
I'd
have
probably
cold ones in
It
the
kind of
fridge.
take it would taste sort of like a Hefeweizen.
You know what
then.
I would
You get
do?
a little banana hint to
I
it.
would do. I would do a little milk.
Oh, wow.
Why don't you inhale the banana peel and all, and then down it with some milk
I like milk.
or orange juice.
Josh also has some PBRs still in the fridge.
I was
if
going to
you
say, what
prefer
is
that.
the beer? I saw it's getting a little thin.
Well, Johnny enjoyed one the other day with us.
That's true. It's like, do you guys got any bottled water? Yeah, we got beer.
And he's the Jet, so
I'm not doing, by the way, before you get any ideas, I'm not doing the milk challenge. Was it like doing a certain amount of
that's old.
the gallon milk? And,
That's old.
people
This is
just
the
pretty much
eat the whole banana challenge.
Yeah, I'll do it.
But we'll get you. I'll bring some milk or some orange juice or something.
I appreciate that.
And he'll deliver. I mean,
I'll bring like
he
some
got us
skim milk.
Lunchables.
Some skim milk.
That'd be
That's
fun.
why I grew up drinking skim milk.
Hey, just dawned on me, and Jimmy will have an update here and coming up in a little bit. So the Royals, who got swept by the Braves, who are the best team right now in baseball, I mean, they just went 6-0 this week. They got 3 guys that have a 1,000 plus OPS.
Pretty good.
By the way, A's fans, earmuffs. Olsen, Chapman, Murphy, all playing well. Murphy and Olsen playing extremely well for the Braves. So the Royals, who are really, really struggling, especially offensively, and then Bubic goes on the IL.
Man, I'm looking good with my under.
I see who they're facing tonight down at the K. They got DeGrom. So Texas won 2 of 3 against the Royals, and they just went to Houston and won 2 of 3. Now they got DeGrom pitching in Kansas City tonight. Ooh. Fat, bald Santa Ginger not going to be happy today when he comes in here in studio at 10.
You know what?
Defeated.
We're going to test his optimism because he has had a very sunny disposition lately with the Royals, which I've appreciated because usually when you root for it, now they still have 2015, but you root for a bad franchise for the most part that's been in the dumps, it tends to wear on you and it tends to take its toll sooner rather than later in the season. But so far, he's been pretty positive. We'll see. We'll see after a weekend.
He should stay positive because Detroit, Washington, and Oakland are still fielding major league teams this year.
God, Detroit, will that ever get good? That's the question.
Well, the question is, will the A's ever get good?
In Las Vegas.
That's a huge embarrassment to baseball. That roster is AAA-ish.
Yep.
I mean, just put the
like a real life major league.
Folks of Oakland out of their misery. Move the team to Vegas. Move them to Nashville. They're playing the Mets this weekend, and I bet there's 500 A's fans there, and I don't blame them. You know when that franchise really started to go downhill is when they let Mount Davis exist.
Yep.
So the old Oakland Alameda County Coliseum used to have the hill in center field, and then you could see the mountains behind, and they'd have that gigantic scoreboard. And then all of a sudden they said, oh, with the Raiders playing here, let's let Al Davis build Mount Davis. And so they covered all that up, and they have that monstrosity in center field, and they have way too many seats. That should have been the sign of the downfall. But I watched the A's play a little bit this weekend. Man, that is really. I feel for my friend Richie.
It's sad.
I feel for my friend Richie. He's a diehard A's fan, and they're awful. Yeah. Well, they're not even a major league team. And that's embarrassing. And then they play in a stadium where you got possums and you got the toilet overflows. I mean, what are we doing?
There's no hot water in here.
Hell, move them to Vegas or let them play in Omaha for the rest of the year.
Yeah. It's a model that worked at one point when they were a lot of it was luck too, but you're getting these young prospects basically, a cent on the dollar as far as what their value would end up being. And that was the reason that they could not keep those guys around, as we all know. But then you were able to, and it's to an extent kind of like what you see the Rays do with how good their farm system is. You continue to bring up these young players. They're not costing you a lot of money, and you're just turning those guys over and over and over. The A's have clearly lost that. The farm system isn't nearly what it was before. And so when you refuse to spend at all, at some point, it's not only going to hurt you for a season, but it's going to put you in a tailspin that it ends up impacting your farm system too, where all of a sudden what you were depending on earlier, even to get them on the cheap, you're not getting those type of prospects and we're not getting those types of players as much as you would hope you are. It's a mess.
Only Lou Brown were the manager of these A's.
They were a team that, I mean, for a while there, it was fun to root for because they were just a young, you would look at the A's salary versus big market salaries. You're like, how they even compete? Now it's like, okay, this makes more sense.
Their hot corner was Chapman and Olsen. And they had Bob Melvin as their manager. Now, I mean, Mark Kotze is, I feel bad for him. I don't know who these guys are that he runs out there every single night. We'll get to Nebraska baseball here in one moment. I want to see this because I just came across this. So Dane Brugler, who is the NFL draft expert for The Athletic, went ahead and did every single pick in the draft, which is 10 days away in Kansas City. He's got one Husker being drafted, Trey Palmer. Yeah. He's got him in the 4th round, 110th overall pick. So that's all you need to know. That's what even as well as he ran to the combine, I think I said, well, he's probably going to be a late second day guy.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, according to Dane, who does a really great job, the only Husker that's expected to go. All right, now to Nebraska baseball. They sweep Northwestern this weekend. They scored 35 runs in 3 games. They took advantage of the windy and breezy conditions yesterday, hit 7 home runs.
They gutted out Saturday, by the way, which by the time they played, that was not pleasant.
They also gutted out. Emmett Olson had one of those rare off days on Friday, and they were behind 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
They got great performances out of the bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
Rocket pitches great in a spot start on Saturday. Will Walsh was great yesterday. And so now
weekend Nebraska.
Yeah, we're about what, 9 weeks in. And also I'm talking about it's tough to sweep a team, but if it's a team like Northwestern, that seems ripe for the picking to sweep them. And there's a tendency where Will's teams sometimes in conference will play to the level of competition.
Yep.
And they were all gas, no brakes this weekend. So they sweep Northwestern and they win yesterday 18-5. So now we get ready for this week. And Nebraska's RPI right now is 112. So it is 9th in the Big Ten, which has the 6th overall RPI. But Nebraska's in first place.
Right.
So can you win the regular season and the norm is you get a berth? Or is it going to win the regular season and be playing at least on Saturday here in Omaha? That's all to be determined because we still got some time to go. But Judgment Week has arrived. If you are still going, not so sure for a team that in their own conference has the top hitting team, the top fielding team, and the second best ERA, you're going to get your answer this week.
Mm-hmm.
I know they're a midweek mess, but you play Creighton, who is a mess right now. You play them at home. You are coming off your weekend. Then you go to Iowa, which Iowa will be in any hope of winning the Big Ten. They're going to be in desperation mode.
Yeah.
And that has always been a really, really good series. So if you've been waiting to make a determination on this team and you're a little bit skewed by the midweek mess, your week has arrived to fully judge Nebraska baseball.
Yeah. And I honestly wouldn't be shocked to see this thing play out the way it did the last time Nebraska was in Iowa City during the COVID year, where you had a pitching duel on Friday night, and then you had a bomb fest on Saturday, and then you had pretty much the same thing on Sunday because the wind was blowing out. It's for Nebraska. I think that Judgment Week is probably the correct way, the accurate way to sort of categorize this weekend, because Iowa, despite just kind of middling right now in the Big Ten, They've got some pitchers. They can swing it a little bit. This is a team that is still pretty solid RPI-wise. They've cashed in on a lot of their midweek opportunities. They were solid early on, and they played some good teams early in the season in non-con as well. So it's a team that, despite what their conference record is compared to Nebraska, does not tell the story. And just, as we kind of talked about too, going to Iowa City has not always been great to Nebraska, but it's always usually come down to that Sunday as well. I expect that to be the case this weekend. The positive things taken away from this weekend, though, first and foremost, I would say, for Emmett Olson, to me, that's not overly concerning because that happens. Starters just have a day where they might get a little bit sideways, and they're having don't have their best stuff, but they're maybe struggling getting outs, and that's what happened to Emmett. Bullpen continues, especially on the weekends, to be very strong for Nebraska, but Jackson Brockett on Saturday. Jace Kaminska, who missed Saturdays and missed the weekend action period because of precautionary issues, from all accounts, sounds like he'd be available this weekend. But where do you want to put him? Because the Sunday one has always been kind of a revolving door. Will Walsh gave you a good showing yesterday, especially with the wind blowing out too. That's not easy to do, even against a struggling Northwestern team. So I think he continues to have the confidence of Jeff Christie and the coaching staff. I think they're still all in on Jace Kaminska. But what Jackson Brockett not only did Saturday, but what he has sort of continued to progress to, you're now starting to look at a fourth starter to where you could possibly throw Jace back into the Saturday rotation or Saturday spot. You could maybe go with Jackson on Sunday, have Will Walsh there as an effective arm out of the bullpen, or Will Walsh becomes your midweek guy, however you want to do this. But that was probably, to me, the bright spot. We could talk about the offense, but again, what is the identity of this team? Their offense. We know what they can do. The Corn Crushers.
T-shirt.
And Max and Bryce, and now seeing, Gabe Swanson is on a freaking tear. Garrett Anglam is healthy. He can smoke the ball too. Josh Caron, hell, even Charlie Fisher. These are guys that can pop the ball out of the park at any moment. It's what this pitching staff, from their rotation to their bullpen, can give you on a consistent basis. This was another big win for that entire group, even with Emmett's start being pretty much below average.
And they get but then they're going to ask him to bounce back because Friday he's going to pitch against Beck.
Yes, and that is going to be a duel. I expect Emmett to be locked right back in.
Brody Beck, who has given up football, who was playing wide receiver for Iowa, unfortunately he's an Ankeny kid, is like
he's a power.
He's a major league guy. He's a guy that'll touch it at 100.
Yep, he is. He's good. He's really good.
That's a huge series.
Mm-hmm.
Such a great series for the Big Ten. Again, it'd be nice if it was here because you would tie it in with the spring game. But Judgment Week has arrived. And just remember that when we are here on Wednesday morning after Nebraska Creighton.
And make an entire banana.
I'm going to say after Nebraska lost to Creighton.
No,
I thought that's where you're going.
Because if you are ready to go all in, there's still the midweek mess.
Yep.
They're the best team in the Big Ten. They're the best team in the Big Ten. I don't think how you can't argue with that. They've got the number one offense, the number one fielding team, the number two in ERA. I think they're the best team in the Big Ten. And they get a chance here during this stretch to prove it, and this weekend is huge.
I can't say they are yet. Now, with the numbers and everything that lead you to believe they are, but I want to see how they got Iowa, they got Maryland coming up as well. Both of those are on the road. Those are huge series. You do avoid, they don't play Rutgers this year. Which Rutgers a top 50 RPI.
Yeah.
Wow. But yes, you've got two. I would
and
say
they don't play Indiana, who has got the best RPI.
Indiana, you avoid them, but you do play two of probably what at least was considered to be the tougher teams. And I'd say by just their overall presence this year, from a talent standpoint, are pretty solid with Maryland, Iowa, having both of them on the road. So right now, again, what they do, they've got a clear identity. Their bullpen has been finally coming together. We're going to know. I'm not ready to say they are the best team in the Big Ten.
Come on over.
I'm not ready to say that yet.
Come on over.
But hey, you know what?
Come on over here.
The standings would tell you that they are.
Yeah, I think there's more than just the standings.
But you had a thing on the Twitter yesterday about them being in first place. I'm surprised you're not over.
They're in first place, but
I'll save you a seat.
I'm keeping in context the teams that they've played to this point in conference play. That's why this weekend, this is a huge show me series. Huge show me series.
Michigan's got a good RPI.
Yeah, they do.
Illinois got a good RPI.
Illinois, I don't know about Illinois. The RPI, but I don't know.
I'm just talking about the RPI.
Oh,
Pick only about the RPI.
Okay.
I'll save you a seat.
All right.
Come on over. Come on over. Amy Just coming up here in the next segment. But first, here's Jimmy with an update.
Not to be confused with Amy. That's a different Amy.
Still can't find that audio anywhere.
No, I looked because I was already thinking.
I swear to
that
God,
could be
he
a
did
good,
it. I swear to God, Jim Nance.
I believe you. I'm not. Yeah,
I didn't mean to get creepy, but it just sounded creepy.
I'm sure she'd appreciate that as her intro. The Storm Chasers had both their Saturday and Sunday games with the I-Cubs postponed because of bad weather. They come back home to open a 6-game series with Gwinnett at Werner Park, beginning tomorrow night at 6:35. Hey, noon game on Wednesday. Creighton baseball drops 2 of 3 at Georgetown, losing yesterday 13-1 in 7 innings. The loss moves them to 15-14 overall, 3-3 in the Big East.
They're a tough team to figure out.
Yeah.
They are very uneven right now in a conference where 1 through 7 is separated by 2 games. The only the top 4 make it to Ohio. Lots of baseball, but they're a tough team to figure out. Some days the offense just goes completely dormant.
Yeah, and Georgetown, go figure, 21-16, 5-4 in the league.
Pitching and defense. That's it. That's the Ed signature team, and you gotta have that if you're gonna have a shot.
South Dakota State also hit a bunch of home runs. They hit 11 of them, sweeping at 11 yesterday. Okay, all in one day. That makes sense. To sweep a Summit League doubleheader from Omaha as the Jackrabbits won 9-3 and 12-9. South Dakota State hit 6 of the homers in the opener. They spread them out 6-5. Omaha was within a run in the 5th inning when Ryan McDonald hit a 2-run homer. The Jackrabbits added a pair of solo home runs in the 7th and 8th inning, and then McDonald blew Game 2 open by hitting a grand slam to give South Dakota State a commanding lead. Omaha falls to 12-17 on the year, 4-8 in the Summit League. The Jackrabbits improved to 13-17 and a 7-5 conference record. You heard a little bit about the Oakland Coliseum. Yes, it's a dump, but to some it's a lovable dump, although it's getting less and less now. However, it's not loved by all. Here's more on that story. That was the case Friday night for the SNY crew of Gary Cohen and Ron Darling. During Friday night's game between the Mets and the A's, a rematch of the 73 World Series, Cohen detailed that a possum made itself a home in the wall in Oakland's visiting announcer booth. It's his booth. He shared a story from Angels play-by-play man Wayne Randazzo that in the opening night game between the Angels and Athletics, the possum made an appearance during the game in their booth. I don't know if they gave him a headset. After the A's hosted the Angels, then the Cleveland Guardians, they went on the road. During that time, the possum got even more comfortable because Cohen shared that when the SNY Tech team arrived Friday to get the booth ready for the game, an odor from the possum having done his business hit them. With that, they went to another booth. Possum claimed it as its own. It's going to be his booth for the rest of the season. Also,
it's like the raccoon at the CWS coming out of the tiles there.
Hey, it's his home.
It was a raccoon, right? It was a raccoon that crept out of the little tiles at the...
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's the thing. That's a thing.
Could be rally possum. That would be if the A's were good.
Yeah.
By the way, over the weekend, people may have not noticed this. The quest for 162-0 is over for the Tampa Bay Rays. They lost the first 2 in Toronto, their 3-game series, but they won yesterday 8-1. They are now a measly 14-2. Braves and Rays in the World Series coming up in a few months.
That was like the most disappointing good start where they all of a sudden, not only do they finally lose their first game, but then they lose 2 back-to-back, and all of a sudden people are like, oh. But then you just look, as you mentioned, you just look at that record. Who wouldn't want to be 14-2 right now after 16 games? So they're fine.
A good team.
They're fine. Got to get that first one out of the way. Now you can roll. Now you refocus.
They are undefeated in the United States this season.
Mm-hmm. I still have always hated that narrative of like, oh man, you're on a roll. You should probably lose before the tournament, or you should probably lose before playoffs because you got to just refocus.
That's what the Chiefs did in Cincinnati. They were fine after that.
Wanting to lose a game.
Yeah, they're good. They're the second best team in baseball.
Yeah.
Toronto's 3rd.
They're not going
Yankees
anywhere.
are 4th, and the Astros are 5th.
Mm-hmm.
Even though they're 7-9, but they'll get it going.
There you go. All right, 8:26. Thanks, Jimmy. One of the best storytellers who is, we are fortunate enough that she is part of our media crew, Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal-Star. She's going to join us next. She's going to become a regular on Mondays. We're so glad to have her. And if you have not, you got about 3.5 minutes here to read her story from yesterday on Jack Hoffman. Unbelievable how she dug into this story. She'll join us next. Also next hour, we'll talk hoops, Nebraska and Creighton on
All right, Woodhouse Mazda is a perfect time to shop for your next Mazda CUV at either of the two exclusive Metro Omaha Mazda locations. Great deal going on I'm going to tell you about here in a moment. Also, the CUV lineup. It's fantastic. CX-5 is the one I drive, but they've got new additions arriving, and the CX-50, one I had a chance to test drive not too long ago. I got that one on my radar as well. The CX-30, also perfect for all kinds of different travels as we get into the warmer. And yes, it will. It's going to get warmer a little bit this week before it gets cold and then warm again. That's just how we do it out here. But you've got the perfect vehicles to do so with all of those spring and summer adventures coming up. And right now you can shop at either location, again, in Millard or in Bellevue, and take advantage of 0.9% APR on select 2023 Mazda CUV models. When you choose Woodhouse Mazda, car buying is on your terms. So shop online at woodhousemazda.com or woodhouseplacemazda.com to browse their inventory and even start your deal from wherever you are. And with available driveway delivery, they are delivering convenience every time. Stop by their showroom again, check it out for yourself, get a test drive set up. Customer experience absolutely second to none. So get into your spring adventures in style with a brand new Mazda CUV. Woodhouse Mazda, a drive worth experiencing.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10 on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. Previously on The Crossover.
Donate the meat slice to the break room.
Yes.
I could. 1620 The Deli.
Would I have to supply the meat? That's a lot of meat. He could bring in his famous ham.
Maybe we could put a jar in the break room, call it like the meat fund. The meat. People could just donate money to the meat
Nick,
fund.
I want you to put a jar in there and write the meat fund on it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
It's an experiment.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley. The Connor Happer Show. Unsportsmanlike conduct. 6A to 6P. 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from Knoyer Garden Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Sunny skies and warmer temperatures as we start the work week with a high in Omaha today of 66 degrees. A little breezy this morning, but calmer this afternoon with winds out of the northwest up to 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tonight, staying mostly clear, but becoming breezy. A low near 40 degrees and easterly winds up to 15 to 20 miles an hour. For your Tuesday, warmer still with a high of 73, mostly sunny to partly cloudy with a chance of storms tomorrow night after 7 p.m. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Zoom Drain Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a significant delay near 84th Street eastbound along I-80. Then on Dodge, be prepared for things to slow down just a little bit from 80th to 61st. And along Industrial Road, be prepared for a little bit of slowdown near 149th. Beware that sun glare, and as always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by the Nebraska Lottery.
The Nebraska Lottery has raised over $923 million, which has helped to provide more than 117,000 college scholarships, save wildlife habitats across the state, and fund new facilities at the Nebraska State Fair. The Nebraska Lottery, helping to build a better Nebraska.
Do you know the common signs of transmission trouble?
Your engine revs before falling into gear, shifting is rough, or you're leaking reddish-brown fluid.
Knowing the signs could mean repair instead of replace.
That's where we come in. We're certified transmission.
The job done right at the right price.
Email any of our shows anytime into the Equitable Bank inbox. At Equitable, we take banking personally. For me, John at 1620thezone.com. The Equitable Bank inbox from 1620 The Zone.
Are you the kind of person who feels sorry for anyone who works in an office? If you prefer to be outdoors in the sun, or the rain, or the hot, or the cold, then Quality Irrigation would like just 30 seconds of your time. If you have experience with irrigation systems and would love to work with a team that'll make your career more rewarding, Quality Irrigation is the kind of company that'll reward your hard work, smart ideas, and initiative. Visit quality-irrigation.com and click the Careers tab to apply today. Equal Opportunity Employer.
How powerful is the Cox network? So powerful that one day the internet will let your doctor perform miracles from thousands of miles away.
Connecting to remote operating room.
Giving a whole new meaning to the term house call. Operation complete. The Cox Network. With multi-gig speeds now available, it's internet built for tomorrow, today. Cox, bringing us closer. Limited availability in select areas. Speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms apply. Other restrictions may apply.
It's time to get registered for this year's annual Clausen Leahy Maverick Run on April 22nd at Baxter Arena. This race has something for every type of runner with a 1-mile kids race, a 5K walk, and a 5K or 10K run. Plus, in conjunction with the kids race, there's a kids zone with a variety of activities inside Baxter Arena. The event starts at 8:30 a.m. on April 22nd. Go to omavs.com/Maverick Run to find out more information and to get registered. It's the Maverick Run at Baxter Arena, April 22nd. See you there.
Ever walk through a door and see all the trucks? Yeah, it's kind of like that at Gretna Auto Outlet. Half-ton trucks, 3/4-ton trucks, dualies, gas or diesel. Gretna Auto Outlet will be happy to show it to you. They don't call it truck heaven for nothing, you know. Stop in the climate-controlled comfort of the indoor showroom or online with the virtual showroom at GretnaAuto.com. Gretna Auto Outlet, open Sundays too, just north of Nebraska Crossing on Highway 6 in Gretna.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The
So I'm really, really excited here. I'm a long-time fan, long-distance fan.
She had to know I would
yeah,
do this.
Yeah, and a first-time radio interactor with the pride of Lincoln Southeast graduate, Lincoln Southeast, Nebraska. She's a KU grad. She followed the Parker Gabriel model, go out to Montana and come to the Journal-Star.
So when's she going to the Denver Post?
Yes, it is Amy Just. Thank you very much for joining us. I am really looking forward to having you here on 1620.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. Yeah, I knew Jimmy was going to play that. I knew it. I knew it.
All right,
I would have failed and she'd like disown me.
Can that be a staple then? Are we okay? Can that be the intro song from here on out? Okay, good.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, that's what my name comes from.
Yeah,
exactly.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, long story short, my legal name is Amelia, but I went by Amy when I was younger. We spelled it the traditional way, and I had a classmate who was also named Amy, and I was really tired of getting her papers sent back home with me. So I changed the spelling of my name to that, AMIE, because my dad would sing that song to me all the time.
Very, very savvy. Now, I know you're an avid runner, so we've got the Boston Marathon on, and ESPN's carrying it all the way through noon, and the competitive men and women are getting set to run. My question for you, as a avid runner, which will be the shorter time today? The Patriots Day game at Fenway Park between the Red Sox and the Angels, who played an hour 57 yesterday, or the winner in the Boston Marathon, where last year's winning time was 2 hours and 21 minutes. Which will be shorter today?
Ooh, normally it would be no problem, right? But the pitch clock has changed everything. Ooh, man. I'm going to say, well, the weather seems to be okay for the marathon. So I'm going to say, this is tough. This is a good one.
That is good.
I'm going to say the Boston Marathon is going to be shorter just because they're probably going to do some pageantry stuff during the game.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I
That's
think
fair.
that,
You're
I
on
think
the board.
I think that's a fair one. Sharpie mentioned this during the break too, that he would be pretty ticked off that if he qualified for the Boston Marathon, he wouldn't be in the first wave. So, I mean, is that the Boston Marathon's way of shaming us novice runners?
Well, no. I mean, if I was an elite runner, I wouldn't want some bozo out there.
Oh,
okay. Like, just in front of me,
Damn.
just running like.
It's gonna work out.
I am not bozo, by the way.
No,
I
I thought you were saying Sharp was the bozo, so that's okay.
No.
Apparently
No, give it about 2-3
You've
weeks.
apparently not seen my 6-minute half mile.
That's about where I'm at too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like
It's radio. They don't
better
know.
for everybody. There's nobody. I mean, I get so frustrated during races when, even though I'm not that fast, like if there's like walkers in front of me and you're trying to serpentine around them, like it's so annoying.
Yeah, I agree.
So
same.
I presume it would be a similar thing for the elite runners trying to dodge out of the way of people who are running like 7-minute miles, which is something I couldn't dream of doing anymore.
Hey, by the way, I'm not happy with you.
Already?
Me?
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted my Sunday to be a real happy Sunday. And
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know. And so there, you have people that have followed your career. You are a fantastic storyteller, which I think is kind of, and sometimes with our younger journalists, whether it be on the radio or TV or in print, that's kind of a lost art. But you are very, very good at this. I got to tell you, the room got dusty because I was there on the day 10 years ago, and I've gotten to know Jack, and I've gotten to know the family, and I got to know Andy pretty well. Your story about Jack Hoffman and the whole Hoffman story was unbelievable. I mean, kudos to you. I mean, reserve your, get your nicest outfit because you're going to win an award for that, and you're going to go to a ceremony. But you weren't here for the event, but you are well aware.
Yes,
of
I
what
was.
You were. Oh yeah, you were. So,
I was a senior in high school. I was at the game.
So-
Like it was a transformational moment for me.
So
like me and my friends who were in the stands in South Stadium were bawling. So I was there, just in a different capacity.
So when you go from that being in the stands to writing the story, just kind of walk us through the emotions as you were putting this all together about this family and about a young man who, it's hard for us to believe, is a junior in high school at West Holt.
Yeah, I know. So I wanted to do something on it, but I didn't know how because so much has been written about them over the years. But I decided that doesn't matter. Just write what you want to write anyway. And so I went up there a week from today, actually. So I turned that story in a week, which is pretty quick for me. Like my Derek Walker and Sam Griesel stories took me about 2 weeks to do. But this one, I wanted it to be before the spring game because so much gets lost. There's so much content that comes out this week. I wanted it to get the run that it deserved. So, but I had done my interviews with Rex and Trey Foster and CJ and Brent before I went up there. So, and those were all really long. I could have had a lot more quotes from those guys. Those guys were super insightful and really helpful. I'm very appreciative of them talking to me about it. And so that kind of helped form, my experience going up to Atkinson because I drove there on Monday with a photographer. So we would have like fresh pictures so people could actually see that he's grown up now and not just me writing about it, right? It's show, don't tell. So that was a good way to show that he's older and he looks so much like his dad. And so I just kind of knew what I wanted to talk about. I didn't have a whole lot written down as far as my questions go. I normally do, but I just didn't have time. And since I had to drive all the way up there, I couldn't spend that time writing them down. So I just was thinking about the questions I wanted to ask in my head. And so we started from the very beginning. How much does Jack remember from before he had cancer? Nothing. And again, like I don't remember anything really from when I was 4 years old either. So that's not weird that he doesn't remember that. So we just started from the beginning and worked forward to the present. I was interviewing them for like an hour and a half.
Mm-hmm.
And so, when you have to talk about difficult things, I like to break it up with positive stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So like right before I asked him and his mom about Andy, I was, asking about prom and stuff like that, just to boost the mood a little bit. It's just nobody wants to talk about depressing stuff for forever, because that wasn't what my story was about. My story was about everything: the good, the bad, the ugly, the great, the terrible, the heartbreak, the amazing stuff, like all of it. Because that family has been through so much heartbreak, but they've done a lot of really inspiring stuff too. And just normal everyday stuff that can be considered a win, like him playing football and him throwing for the track team. Like, that's great, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I tried to find a balance of all of it, which was really tough. And then I read all of Andy's book in one sitting so I could get his voice in there, because I thought it was really important to have his voice in the story too, even though I can't talk to him.
Well, and Amy, you mentioned where Jack is right now in life, and obviously at an age where I'm sure he does have some perspective of the adversity that he's dealt with, not only with his battle, but then, his biggest cheerleader and supporter in his father and Andy's unfortunate passing too. What kind of reflection did you get from him, or just his overall kind of his state of mind on how everything has sort of transpired? Because it's just, I know for a lot of us, we propped him up for that moment and wanted to be right there, in his battle, and then having for him to have to sort of, also kind of be with us in supporting his father too. Like, I can't imagine someone that has still not lived a very long life having to endure what he has, yet there he is, trying to be a normal teenager. Like, what type of perspective did maybe he give you?
He was so insightful about all of it. And that's a lot to ask of a 17-year-old kid,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, 17-year-old kids should be allowed to be kids, to play football, to go to prom, to do silly stuff with their friends, right? Like, not have to take care of your dying dad. Like, that was so heartbreaking to listen to him and his mom talk about how, like sometimes Jack would have to help carry him from room to room when he couldn't walk anymore. And that's a lot to ask of a teenager. And he was willing to do it because, he didn't have any other choice. But yeah, it's really sad. You hate to see that for anything. And then to have two people in the same family be diagnosed with similar things that are not the same, they're not genetically linked. Just like, how does this happen?
Yeah.
It is a fantastic story that Amy put together. You can find it in the Journal Star. Make sure you're following Amy on Twitter at Amy_Just. So your first year, you come in and you get last year's fall football season from Scott to Mickey to Matt. And now that we're into the spring, and I don't know if you've observed this or not, but you've been around the professional environment of the Saints. You've been around the college environment. So you understand how pieces fit together to be successful in any organization. When you listen to this spring, or you've listened for 5 months to Matt Rule, why, in your opinion, do you think that him having success and being that guy to turn things around here will actually work?
Yeah, so it's going to take some time, right? Like, I know Nebraska fans have been asked to be patient since like the literal dawn of time, but Nebraska fans are going to have to be patient. Like, I don't know what this season is going to be, but I don't think it's going to be 8-5. May go another season without making a bowl again. Like, this team has a lot of work to do. They have a lot of habits to unlearn, and they have a lot of things to learn, right? Just from a schematic standpoint, like, learning a new offense And learning a new defense takes time. These are college kids. These are not professionals, right? Like, so they still have to, take the time to learn the things. And, it takes longer for defenses to learn things. And then you have to think about where they were, right? Like, they weren't tackling in practice for years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they were just hip checking for years. So it's going to take time to build that back up. So having realistic expectations for year one, I think, is important. I know that's hard to do, right? Because everybody wants, we're in the age of instant gratification. We make a change, we want to see change now. I don't know if that's going to happen right away. I do think that things will get turned around. And what does that mean? Mm-hmm. Making a bowl. I'm not saying that Nebraska is going to win national championships. I don't know if that will ever happen again. Sorry to burst the bubble there. But yeah, I think it'll work, but it's going to take time. Like, people need to buy in, and you've seen that. That's the first step, is people buying in to Matt's vision and what he wants to accomplish and how he wants to accomplish it. But it's just going to take time. The defense has a lot of work to do, and that's not like me being a jerk to the defense. Like, they were done a disservice for a really long time, and that's not fair to them. But that's just the situation they find themselves in.
Well, and Amy, with Matt Rule, there's so many interesting things that kind of stand out from the time that he was introduced to, being at SmackDown on Friday to talking to the media on Saturday after the most recent scrimmage. There's different qualities I think a lot of us would probably at least assume exist with him just by either interacting with him personally or, hearing him talk to an audience or to the media after a practice. Is there something that stands out to you about Matt Rule that you do feel like you could point to if there's reason to believe, like, hey, fans, just give this time. There's something there with this guy. Is there anything that kind of jumps off the page that he's kind of displayed to this point?
Well, he doesn't want to fail, and he cares a lot.
Yeah.
Like, he has said it. He said it in his opening press conference back in November. I've lost track of time. Is that, he doesn't have to do this. He could have just played golf and get paid by the Carolina Panthers, get paid more to not do anything. Right? So he is wired to where he wants this to work. He wants to turn this around. He wants Nebraska to be the Nebraska of his childhood that he remembers. A lot of people want that. And I think that with the qualities that of a person, right, that Trev Alberts wanted in a coach, Matt has all of them. So there's some synergy there, to use a fancy buzzword. And I think that with those two being on the same page is helpful. It's a cherry on top that Matt and, Coach Osborne get along so well. They see eye to eye on a lot of different things. And obviously you don't have to embrace the past to be successful, but it certainly helps, right? Especially in a place like this that cannot seem to move out of 1997, which is fine. But yeah, there's a lot of work to be done. But Matt is embracing all of it, the past, the present, the future. And I think you need that type of person here. You need somebody to understand and embrace the history while also keeping an eye forward onto the future. Like, say what you will about Scott. Even though he was a part of the past, he wanted to turn the clock back to that and didn't necessarily embrace the future other than getting rid of the fullback and doing whatever it was with that offense.
Yeah, that's so true. Well, hey, I'm glad that you joined us. I enjoy this conversation. I'm a big fan, and we buried the hatchet because you're a Timmy Trumpet fan. I'm not.
I am.
Ask her about Sandstorm if you really want to trigger her.
Oh, no, we will not. If you play Sandstorm, I will hang up, and with no apologies.
Sandstorm is great.
I appreciate it. Fantastic job. We'll see you Saturday. Thank you again.
Yes, thank you.
That's Amy Just from the Lincoln Journal Star. She's going to join us on Fridays. So Jimmy knows Amy from their days in Lawrence.
A little bit.
So, hat tip to Jimmy getting her on because Amy she's not in the car wash, so to speak. So she's kind enough to join us as a Monday guest. What's the sandstorm story? Because I don't want her to hang up on us.
She hates the song, and Expletive hates the song, and it's tied into the whole K-State and how they played it. And and she's had her key card in Manhattan, she's had her car keyed in Manhattan.
Oh, that's how Bramlage gets down, though.
Yeah,
Bramlage gets down. That way.
She made the mistake. So when was it? Because I've known her since pretty much day one of college. Because all of us like older writer people that were covering KU athletics, and she sat at the table. We were at lunch, and everyone was like, "Wait, who's that? Was she with you? No, was she with you?" I was like, "Who is that?" And so turns out that she was like a freshman just trying to get her foot in the door there. But anyway, so she's covering K-State football in 14, I believe. And she was doing it for the Kansan. And my wife and I went to the game to meet some friends. And I was going to go up in the box while she sat in the seats with the friends. And so we ended up taking my wife's car because it has all the Husker stuff on it. Well, 2014, they're not going to key a Nebraska car. Now, 2000 may be a little different. Yeah. But in 14, it's long since gone. Like it's so, and even my wife goes, "Wait, why aren't we taking yours?" Like, trust me. So we take her car, everything's fine. We park in the media lot. Amy parked in the media lot as well with all her KU stuff on there. So she texts me when we're on the way back to Kansas City to tell me that she got it keyed and had beer thrown on it. And
whoa!
And so I basically look at my wife's like, "I told you."
So do we want to? So we don't need to talk to her about the greatness of Wildcat Nation. Then just need to steer clear of that.
No, it's just Sandstorm. It triggers her.
Or just Sandstorm.
Wildcat.
Okay.
For Kansas State.
First down.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good thing she never took a job at the state newspaper in Columbia, South Carolina. She would hear nothing but Sandstorm.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how schools still get down with Sandstorm.
I enjoy Sandstorm.
Zombie Nation, Sandstorm still has its place in collegiate athletics, whether you like it or not.
Zombie Nation. I mean, it's just certain songs are, and for some now for the newer generation, Timmy Trumpet seems to have that kind of, you're either with it or you're not with it. So
I'm telling you, if they introduce Herbie, the new Herbie today, the
Timmy Trumpet,
the woke Herbie, if they introduce him with that song, I'm out.
Timmy Trumpet. Oh yeah, I get that. So yeah, basically Timmy Trumpet. Also, that's your Sandstorm for
Also,
Amy.
if they introduce him to the Killigans.
That one.
I will march right with you on that one. Timmy Trumpet, I'm just like, it is what it is.
Just play the beginning to Blind by Korn. There, you can satisfy. Just
That
right
is
when
good.
Are You Ready?
No one uses that one as much anymore.
No.
Come running, Herbie.
God, yeah, I will.
Don't you hear them boots?
I will.
Like
I
the
will join you.
mascots in the ground. How it walks along to a good old song. For the sons of Nebraska, Harry Herbie. Now it's coming. Look at that furry thing is abound. It's Herbie Husker. He's back. He's gold. He's got a corn cob in his pocket. Overalls.
Oh my God.
Shish boom ba. In the days of old, Harry Husker would scare kids away. And with Little Red, he went for the younger kids and got in trouble to this day.
Okay. I thought you, for the sake of rhyming, you were going to go to a really
what?
dark spot.
It's like being in a fast car, man. Just hold on and let it go.
Yeah.
Though they go through many battles, Fred Herbie has been killed. Our colors still are seen. A mascot in overalls with a corn of cob and a golden blonde hair. Thank you, Scott. All right.
Oh my God! Bravo! Very good. Very good.
You want me to keep going?
No,
I'm enjoying it
No,
here.
I'm
It's
maybe save that for the crossover.
In the state so fair, where we love our mascots, 'tis the very air that inspires us with a zest. That in any fray we will not dismay, regardless of what you think of the mascot. But we'll do our level best. Matt Rule says, go, go. He says, go Big Red, go Big Red, go Big Red.
And I have my next promo.
Hey, got the biggest pop of the night when they showed Rule.
Yeah. Oh, just again, the social media reaction, especially in the good folks of the Carolina Panther fandom.
What if
They weren't fans of it.
Yeah. Hey, what if they unveiled Herbie today? Because they did one shot where it looks like he's walking up to a barn.
Yeah.
What if, like, the reveal is he steps on a tiny baby buffalo?
I thought you were going to say he steps on something else, but yeah, the little baby buffalo.
As corn kernels are coming out of his pocket. All right, one more hour to go.
Can you tell he had a marketing background? It's brilliant.
No, I just like
brilliant.
I mean, I'm kind of having fun here with the lyrics to.
I'm with you.
And yet somehow you got in baby buffalo there too. Well done.
Unite the fan base.
Do you really want to hear them have a Herbie Husker rendition though?
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah. Don't we?
I don't think we do.
I'm for it.
You know, the Come A Running Boys by the Killigans?
Yeah.
They call it an iconic fight song.
Oh, boy.
Hey, aren't they changing part of the fight song in Nebraska?
Yes,
too?
they are.
Damn
Yes,
Trail.
they are.
Everything
Changing everything. Remember the good old days?
When you still needed the lyrics on the video board. Now, see, for fans that do not know the changes, because it's to, it's not to Hail. Is it to Hail Varsity?
I don't know.
No, it's one or the other.
They're going to make you learn the words instead.
But yes, they're going to have it on the video board.
Know the words.
So we can all sing along.
Know the words. We don't know the words.
Okay. Yep. Just a couple subtle changes that they will have on display for you to follow along, and hopefully you'll feel at that point encouraged in the need to sing along and become of a new tradition. Memorial Stadium.
I mean, the Square Boys and the Fair Girls.
Oh yeah, that's being
above average state.
Yeah, that's being
Need not worry.
replaced.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean,
At least it's an above average state.
It's something.
Depends on what age group you ask, Jimmy. But I get where you're going.
I think instead of the
Or
lyrics
what's happened in
of
the state in the last week
of talking about just the boys or the men, it's now just it's lumping every male, females. It's Huskers instead of just the men.
Zach, the Lego Maniac, says, wait, they're not having him come out of the tunnel with smoke machines and Sal is dead, go Big Red?
Oh, jeez. Oh, boy.
Going way back on that one.
Yeah. Let's just avoid that part of it. We can play the Colorado
I like tiny
rivalry
baby
thing.
buffalo, though.
Yeah, little baby buffalo is fine, but yeah, let's stay away from the other part of that.
But it's okay for them to say I'd better be dead than red?
The joke's on them because they'd be dead.
Let's take the higher road, Sharpie. Huh? Let's let our actions speak on the field.
Right, September 9th will be here before you know it.
Yes. That's right.
Payback from Mike McIntyre. Hey, Adrian Martinez was good until that one play.
Oh, but remember, I wanted Laviska Shenault to be a Chicago Bear after that game. I like him. I really did. He was impressive.
He was. I mean, they won. They won their division in the Pac-12 one time.
Montez.
Yeah. Okay. Jacob Bigelow, Joel Lorenzi in the last hour. It appears the first group, the men and women, are off at the Boston Marathon, so they get a big head start before the schmoes like us three running the marathon.
When Amy was talking about how she has to, you have to weave around the people who are walking. How funny would that be if somehow you snuck yourself into and I'm sure they have a very, very good system that we wouldn't even be allowed to come close to the first corral or wave of runners. But what if you can tell who the elite runners are, and then you just see us there, and all of a sudden, as soon as the gun goes off, we just start walking. And so all those people that are going 5.5, 6 minute miles are having to weave through us because right out of the gate, we're just walking.
Look at the wicked winners.
Hey,
I can get on board with these guys.
They call them bandits. So people that jump into a race without registering.
They're bandits?
Yeah, they call them bandits, or they call them a-holes.
So that would be like a wedding crasher.
I mean, these people.
It's kind of like what you're doing. You're a marathon.
They realize they don't have a bib.
Yeah.
I mean,
no, it's underneath.
Someone look, I made my own 69.
I got to show it underneath here, bud.
A lot of the bigger races have volunteers that are bandit catchers. They are very,
really?
They watch very closely
this is a big thing
to see if anybody tries to crash without registering for a race. Well,
dead giveaways when they asked the guy for a light.
So 2:21 was last year's winning time for male. The Red Sox Angels game, first pitch is in 2 hours. What will be the shorter time?
It's a great question.
Thank you. That's why I asked it.
Yep.
One more hour to go of Monday's edition of Mornings with Sharp and Handley at 1620 The Zone.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. For the Jays, the Huskers, and even you Jayskers, we are 1620 The Zone.
Dust. It's in the living room, the bedroom, and the bathroom. It's also in your lungs. Let's fix that, shall we? Duct Defense Midwest offers a comprehensive system that cleans, disinfects, filters, and purifies the air. They'll make your home healthier and improve the life of your HVAC system. So improve the health of your home and everyone in it. Go to cleanairradio.com right now for a special air duct cleaning offer for Zone listeners. Cleanairradio.com.
Hey, baseball fans, join the Blur Tailgate at Hilton Omaha this June for our 11th annual hospitality event during the College Baseball Championship Series. Book an experience for your clients or employees with an inclusive bar, buffet, TVs, music, and tailgate games. Secure your spot today and let us handle all the details steps away on the south side of Charles Schwab Field. Visit blurevents.com to book your group, buy tickets, or learn about sponsorships. That's blurevents.com, your college baseball and football tailgate destination. Blur Events takes care of all the work so you can enjoy the day.
The Nebraska Lottery has given over $900 million back to our state since 1993. It's gone to improve our environment, education, and state fair.
Over $900 million? That's something.
I'll say.
Hey, I have a great idea for a commercial. Have someone count to 900 million out loud.
That would take 28 years. Not a good idea.
I don't know, with a little background music and some sound effects.
There's another studio down the hall. Why don't you get started?
The Nebraska Lottery, 30 years of building a better Nebraska.
The Nebraska Lottery has given over $900 million back to our state since 1993. The proceeds have helped protect and improve Nebraska's environment, funded need-based scholarships for Nebraska students, and maintained and improved facilities at the state fair.
That's terrific. You should put that on your website.
It already is. Just click on beneficiaries in the menu.
Menu? You guys serve food too?
Maybe you should get off your feet for a while.
The Nebraska Lottery, 30 years of building a better Nebraska.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/RADIO. ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
How powerful is the Cox network? So powerful that one day the internet will let your doctor perform miracles from thousands of miles away.
Connecting to remote operating room.
Giving a whole new meaning to the term house call.
Operation complete.
The Cox network, with multi-gig speeds now available, it's internet built for tomorrow, today. Cox, bringing us closer. Limited availability in select areas. Speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Cox terms apply. Other restrictions may apply.
Businesses of Omaha, settling for a website that looks like it's stuck in the early 2000s? Then it's time to level up with JM Online. Our local team builds custom websites that solve unique business needs. We're not your typical web design company. We're your partners in online success. Ready to take your website to the next level? Go to jmonline.com and request an initial call.
Did you know the household goods that you donate to the Salvation Army make a big difference here in the Metro? Those donated goods are sold at our thrift stores, and the proceeds go directly into our Omaha area social services programs. Donate now and help those in need find support, hope, and a second chance. And it's easy to do. Just call us. Schedule a pickup time today by calling 1-800-SA-TRUCK. That's 1-800-SA-TRUCK. Thank you for your generosity.
Your exclusive home for Royals baseball in Omaha. Right up the middle, patient, and the Royals are a winner. 1620, The Zone.
Now back to Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
All right, Siena guard Javion McCollum is down to 3 schools: Oklahoma, Nebraska, South Florida. At Siena, averaged 16 points a game last year, 4 assists, was just at OU. He'll come to Nebraska before he makes his decision. Interesting, he just left Norman, where Doc Sadler and Armand Gates are on Porter Mosier's staff.
No. What do you think Doc said?
We're going to be okay.
Going Lincoln?
I like Lincoln, but Norman.
Tell Fred I said.
Have you seen Norman? He's a priority. Well, how big of a priority? Jacob Bigelow joins us next.
More with Gary and Nick after this on 1620 The Zone. Live from the Host Coffee Studio, this is 1620 The Zone. 1620 The Zone. Traffic.
From the Zoom Drain Time-Saving Traffic Center. We have no accidents to report at this time, but you can expect a significant delay near 84th Street eastbound along I-80. Then on Dodge, be prepared for things to slow down just a little bit from 80th to 61st. And along Industrial Road, be prepared for a little bit of slowdown near 149th. Beware that sun glare, and as always, remember to stay safe and wear your seatbelts. I'm Chris Scott. This time-saving traffic was brought to you by Romeo's Mexican Food and Pizza.
Not your typical restaurant, not your typical place. Romeo's, not your typical restaurant, for your not your typical taste. Romeo's Mexican Food and Pizza. Not your typical restaurant.
Hey everyone, Josh Peterson here for my friends at Kugler Vision. There is so much to do in Omaha in the spring, whether it's going to the ballpark, hiking on any of the local trails, or just hanging out on the patio and enjoying the breeze with friends. Why not see all of those things and more with the best vision you have had in your entire life? Kugler Vision, the only place in Nebraska that specializes in all 7 FDA-approved forms of modern vision correction. Schedule a consultation online today at KuglerVision.com.
From basketball to volleyball, baseball to softball, soccer, tennis, and so much more, the Creighton sports season is packed with action. The 1620 The Jays podcast, presented by Barry Law, covers it all. Each week, we visit with Blue Jay athletes and coaches to hear their stories and document their climb through the Big East Conference. The 1620 The Jays podcast drops each Friday morning and is found at 1620thezone.com and all major podcast platforms. Just search 1620 The Jays. Covering all things Creighton Blue Jays, it's the 1620 The Jays podcast, presented by Barry Law from 1620 The Zone.
Hi, this is Doug Nodgaard with Equitable Bank. Great service never goes out of style. When the digital age dawned, many said computers would be able to handle many of the interactions that used to take a person. Boy, were they wrong. How many times have you called your bank and gotten a recording to press 1 or 2? Not at Equitable. Not only does Equitable answer your call in the first ring, it's answered by a human being. That's because Equitable Bank values its customers. Equitable Bank, we take banking personally. Member FDIC.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
What if you could do business without busy work? With Ramp, you can. Ramp is the future of finance with smart automation, corporate cards, and spend management. Just imagine, no more expense reports or shuffling wrinkled receipts. No more slogging through invoices or getting surprised by unexpected charges. Just your business's big idea with smart spend controls, automation that crushes busy work, and real-time insights so you can make it happen. In other words, Ramp completely reimagined finance to make it work for your business. Get set up, issue corporate cards, and start making payments in less than 15 minutes. See how Ramp does finance. Join today and get $250 just for signing up. Just go to ramp.com/sports. That's ramp.com/sports to get $250 for signing up. That's ramp.com/sports.
Tickets for less. Best seats, best prices, no per-ticket fees. Ticketsforless.com. KOZN Bellevue, Omaha, Council Bluffs. This is 1620 The Zone. And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, time for our good friend, Jacob Bigelow. Covers Nebraska basketball in general, whether it be youth, high school, college, pro. Joins us now. First and foremost, thoughts and prayers, my good friend, on the passing of your grandmother. I know you've shared briefly how important she was, so I think we can all relate. So, thoughts and prayers, my man.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you, Gary. And you and Jimmy both reaching out meant a lot, and it made last week a little easier. So thanks to you guys for being good friends and for thinking of me and my family and reaching out. Thanks, guys.
It's not an easy transition here, but let's talk about last week. What was the biggest win for Fred Hoiberg last week? Two guys that come out of the portal, or beating Wisconsin and Iowa for a 24 prospect who's a top 100 player?
I think I'd go with beating Wisconsin and Iowa, getting a 4-star top 100 kid out of Wisconsin. That's a pretty big get. I know a lot of people are probably thinking about next year, but being able to go into another Big Ten state and steal an in-state kid from the home state school, that's a pretty pretty big win, and it also shows that that guy's not worried about any talk that there may be about the status of the head man. He's willing to commit and be all in on Nebraska basketball. So that was a pretty big win for Fred and co.
And I'm glad that's what you brought up, Jacob, because that's exactly what my next question was going to be. Is you start? I mean, obviously, this coaching staff is continuing to work. They're building as if they're going to be there for years to come. But when you are trying to get some of those guys across the finish line, there's always going to be that elephant in the room. My question is, and we've talked about this many times, is there still a pretty strong presence of Fred Hoiberg in the NBA ties of what you could potentially be able to experience if you do play under his leadership? I mean, does that still hold quite a bit of value in your opinion compared to maybe what it did, even a couple of years ago?
Oh, I'd say so, yeah. Because he's got he's got guys from two different college coaching stops who are playing in the NBA. He's got the Iowa State guys from that run, but now he's got a McGowan's and a Banton who are they both showed flashes during their times on NBA rosters this year. I've still got these connections, and now it helps that he's got two guys from two different coaching stops, both playing on NBA rosters, getting bigger contracts, and things like that. As many those guys keep doing their thing as long as they can. It's beneficial for their own personal careers and for Fred to say, hey, look at where these guys got their start with me.
Hey, quick thing about recruiting and about Janowski, the 4-star from the state of Wisconsin who commits to Nebraska. I love him because he's a southpaw. In my next life, I'm going to come back and I'm going to shoot the basketball left-handed. But again, Nebraska beat Wisconsin and Iowa for a 24 prospect, and that's way down the road. But do you have any correlation? Because the state of Minnesota produces a lot of good Division I basketball talent, and especially around the Twin Cities. Milwaukee produces a lot of really good high school basketball players, and the state of Wisconsin as well. But we have this discussion about Minnesota can't keep local kids home. Wisconsin, for the most part, can't keep in-state kids home. Any reason why? Because the Wisconsin basketball program is near the top of the Big Ten every season.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be. You'd think the style of play and like how nothing really aside from the man in charge has changed with Wisconsin basketball in quite some time. I mean, it's they get the smart, savvy guards and the big guys who have like two post moves and that's it. And that's kind of been the bread and butter of Wisconsin basketball as long as I can remember. I mean, there have been plenty of NBA guys coming out of the Milwaukee area these last couple of years. The Tyler Heroes, Tyrese Halliburton. There are all sorts of there's a lot of talent up in Wisconsin, and it feels like even when they do stay, even all the way back to the Hauser brothers. I mean, they started at Marquette, but they found their way, to other schools out of state. Yeah, it seems few and far between that, the talented kids out of Wisconsin are staying in state, whether it be in Madison or in Milwaukee.
Jacob, back to last week's news in order to start with Bryce Williams. When you hear about people who have watched him play a lot, how he fits, the versatility continues to come up, and it's something that Fred obviously covets with his team, and having guards that are, multifaceted when it comes to it. Where do you think he kind of best benefits Nebraska? Where do you think that he kind of fits in best, and why this was a real big pickup for Nebraska?
I think he's that coveted wing scorer that we've been talking about on this show since the season ended. I think he, everything that I've heard, whether it be from opposing coaches in Conference USA or just from people I've talked to around the country that may have had interest in him in the portal. It's just that it all comes back to that versatility. He can do it all from all three levels. He loves pull up jump shots. Spot up threes, everything on up and down the list. Bryce Williams has those tools in his toolbox, and like you said, that's what Fred Hoiberg he wants. He wants all five guys on the floor to be versatile and have multiple ways to attack you. So. I think he went 2 for 2 on getting versatile additions out of the portal last week.
Jacob Bigelow joining us here on Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Did Nebraska just get their Philip Rubracha in rink mast?
Something like that. That's a pretty good comparison. I think they definitely have some pretty good similarities. And Philip with an F, as I call them all year. He had a kind of a breakout year for Iowa this past year. He was kind of their guy, especially when Murray was out. He was their guy. Had a couple 30-point double doubles and all sorts of stuff like that. Now I'm not saying Rink Mass is going to come in and have 30-point double doubles, but he's got plenty of I think if you listen to the latest episode of the podcast we did, Padilla went into the statistics, just how good he is with his hook shot.
Mm-hmm.
The kid loves hook shots. If you long for the days of Nebraska basketball having a back to the basket big shooting hook, Rink Mast is your guy. And he was in I think the 93rd percentile on his hook shots last year, and he did it with both hands. He'll go up with his right or his left on his hook shot. So it's a pretty good piece. Pretty good piece to add. I know it kind of seemed like a two-horse race between Nebraska and Iowa for Mast, and then Iowa picked up the kid from Valpo, whose name escapes me, and that opened up the door for Nebraska to say, "Hey, come on down, we'll gladly have you."
Yeah, in his offensive ability, I was watching a little bit of him in the Missouri Valley Conference, but then saw some more of his highlights. Saw a lot more of the offensive showcase. You mentioned, the hook shot, and has that physicality of being able to kind of play pretty strong block to block, which you would assume would fit in pretty well in the Big Ten. I'm curious about his defense, and would we consider him someone that is going to give you that strong presence? I mean, is there sort of that rim protecting ability that you see out of him defensively as well?
I don't know about rim protecting, but we had coaches tell us that he doesn't get enough credit defensively.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of the thing that can be forgotten about with him. He's able to be physical on both ends. He's tough, and but probably comes from the fact that he was playing against grown men when he was in high school back in the Netherlands. He started off young, going up against grown men back when he was playing with Jeter and Caruso when he was back at home. But I think it may be the part that flies under the radar with Mass. I wouldn't say he's a rim protector, but I think he's going to be more than serviceable on the defensive end. Jacob
Bigelow joining us here. Before we brought you on, our good friend Joe Tipton at Tipton Edits, who has the news before everybody else. Javion McCollum, it's Oklahoma, Nebraska, South Florida. Probably not a surprise that Nebraska's in the last 3 because he's still got a visit here. What is your read on him, and what's your read on Trelly Jr., who was on campus this weekend?
I think it's going to be my read on Trelly is that the visit went really well. From everything that I've heard and been told, the visit went really well. He was impressed with the staff and the facilities. He played a couple games at PBA back when he was at Central, but he hadn't really seen the whole operation for Nebraska. But I've been told the visit went really well. With McCollum, I don't really have a read, but I do know that he is kind of the only like true point guard that they're going after. He's, unlike a Trelly or a Hunter, those guys are more off-ball wing guys, but they are capable ball handlers. But McCollum is definitely a true point guard. But if he's still, like you said, he does still have the visit. I don't know if, him committing would mean they don't take, one of the local kids. But I think if he doesn't, if he winds up choosing Oklahoma or South Florida, I think that fully opens the door for that. The two local guys to come in together if they do so choose.
Yeah, and I know with spring game, it's not all about the football recruits too, but we do see some guys, whether it's Hunter Salas or some of the other prospects coming through. Speaking of Hunter, and you kind of mentioned it right there too. As far as assuming that this is Nebraska, all in on Hunter. If I were to put any type of percentage where you think Hunter is on Nebraska, and just based on what you heard, I mean, is that more than just sort of a possibility? Do you think that there is real substance to, let's just say, mutual interest there from Hunter Salas' side?
No, I definitely think there's mutual interest. I think they're kind of in the process of narrowing down, a final group for visits, and I think that Nebraska is still very much in the conversation. I think the interest is definitely mutual. I know he scheduled a second official visit to a second school in Wake Forest. I think he's going to do that, and that's this week, and that's going to lead directly into his Nebraska visit this weekend. Another school to watch for Hunter is I've been told is Georgetown. I know their pitch kind of to everybody is come be a piece in the revival of Georgetown basketball, and that the brand that is Georgetown and everything, and that's definitely another school to keep an eye on, maybe for a visit to get scheduled here soon. But in terms of Nebraska, I think the interest is definitely mutual, and I'd say it's strong mutual interest on both sides.
If you're Nebraska and you think they got a great shot to get Hunter to come back to Nebraska, who worries you more? Wake Forest, where he'll be the 19th and 20th, and then it's 21st, 22nd, 23rd. So this weekend in Lincoln. Wake Forest or Georgetown? If you have the most worry in the Nebraska recruiting office today.
Well, Wake Forest has already got him once on the recruiting trail, but the pitches between Wake Forest and Nebraska are pretty similar offensive schemes. I think the pitch at Wake Forest is come in and replace, I forget his first name, but his last name was Appleby, and he was a transfer guard there last year, and he averaged almost 18 a game, and was kind of their dude. So I'm sure Forbes' pitch to him is come be our dude. But I think Georgetown would probably be the biggest worry. Just the aura. There's more aura to Georgetown basketball than DC and the whole kit and caboodle that comes with being a Georgetown basketball player. When Georgetown's good in DC, there's more aura to that than playing for a coach who may proverbially have one foot out the door for an entire season in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. So that's just my opinion. So
Jacob, has K-State text you lately? Like, what's going on?
No,
timetable here?
I haven't heard anything from him, but I don't think silence is a bad thing for Nebraska. I'll continue to say it. I don't think silence is a bad thing. We're kind of coming up on when decisions would be made on if he's at least going to go through the process for the NBA here. But I think the international seasons kind of get going pretty soon. I don't know for sure, but at least not pretty soon, probably within the next couple months. But I feel like if he was if he was not going to come back, we would know by now, just so Nebraska would have that assured extra open spot to be recruiting with. They are kind of over recruiting in terms of visitors compared to spots they have to fill right now.
Yeah, they're going to have a log jam at guard if some guys commit and some guys don't leave.
Yeah, no, they are. Yeah, definitely. They have two spots to fill right now. They definitely are. They've had plenty of visitors both this past weekend and this coming weekend. So it'll be interesting to see if we we hear any news about possible attrition or decisions to go professional or anything this coming week. But I think by the start of May we should have a pretty good idea on Case A next year, and then obviously with the visits and guys coming in, I think we'll have a pretty good picture of what the roster is going to look like in the next 2 weeks, I think.
All right, call your shot. Will there be an addition or a subtraction this week?
I think there'll be both. I think we'll get both by the end of the week.
Okay.
That's just my guess.
All right. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Have a good week. I know if people want to see Jacob, he'll be over at the Iowa West Fieldhouse this weekend, the 3SB. The circuit is back. There'll be all kinds of major college coaches in town. And I saw that Nebraska, so Pete, whose brother, played football here, he's playing in the 3SSB. So he's taking an unofficial. He's a prospect in 25.
Yeah, that's a pretty big visit too. He's I forget how highly rated he is, but he is a 5-star in the 25 class. So that's a pretty big visit to get, and that's definitely one guy I'll definitely have my eye on this weekend. But it'll be good to see some friends in the coaching ranks this weekend over at the Fieldhouse.
Yep. Thanks, Jacob.
All right, thanks guys. Have a good week.
Yeah, the Adidas circuit, the live period is back over in Council Bluffs at Iowa West Fieldhouse with
on the West Coast
ETG.
Is it? How many years have they done this now?
Well, this will be the second time.
Second
so
one,
a couple of years ago where they had the summer. This is the early one, and there will be, just rattle off any major college basketball coach, including all the local ones that will be here. Speaking of the portal, I've just noticed because now verbal commitments, I can tell
just looking at this.
I can tell when the guy wakes up.
Yeah, because it just gets flooded,
and he gets all of his notifications about, hey, this is the guy that's transferring here, here, and here. So he fires them off. Alan Huss has been busy today. He is adding transfers right and left. He just got a Utah State guy.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if Cabe Potter, who is going to a High Point, knows if his point guard is coming to Omaha, to Creighton. We are at almost 1,500 that are in the portal, and we still have a few weeks to go.
Jimmy, 2,000. You ready? You go over 17. Remember, I asked you to go over 17. You were reluctant.
I know.
I don't know how many more guys can go into the portal.
I know, that's the thing. At some point, it's got to end, but it doesn't. It hasn't. Like I feel like by the end of the day, we could be at 1,700.
We will see. I know.
It's nuts.
I was just doing the math on Jacob talking about a log jam. Nebraska could be a really, really old team next season, which isn't a bad thing.
Nope.
They have
if it's make or break.
They have right now, if I'm doing this right, they have one true freshman in Rice, and they have one redshirt freshman in Lloyd, and they have two sophomores, McPherson and Lawrence. Everybody else is older.
Yeah, older, and then even the guys that you're targeting the transfer portal. Like, if you're gonna, we talked about this going through that over and over every year, kind of throwing new pieces and hoping that it can all come together. I guess if that's the way you have to go, especially in this day and age of the transfer portal, you'd rather have the guys that have a lot more college basketball experience than ones that are, maybe just fresh with it or even barely getting off the bench.
If you need to get it done next year, get you some old
experience means something.
Get old, stay old.
Yeah.
That's what my grandma said.
Wise one.
Joel Lorenzo will join us before we turn it over to Fat Bald Santa Ginger in the crossover.
Oh, wow.
We're back with more after this.
Gary Sharp, Nick Handley, and Jimmy Chavez. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Weekdays 6 to 10. On 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com. Mornings on 1620 The Zone is brought to you by MD West One Orthopedics, Neurosurgery, and Spine. Previously on Unsportsmanlike Conduct.
I still don't think it's great for most of the college sports to have this nonstop, uncontrolled free agency. This is what happens when the organization known as the NCAA overcorrects.
I love the idea of a one-time free pass.
Sure.
So I think if you give them the one time, like especially in this time period in our history, I think we've all made decisions that we regret and want to change. But that it continues to happen after that, I definitely think it's weird.
Unsportsmanlike Conduct with John Bishop and Josh Peterson. Weekdays 2 to 6 on 1620 The Zone. Your Omaha area forecast from Canoyer Garden Center and KETV Newswatch 7 on 1620 The Zone.
Sunny skies and warmer temperatures as we start the work week with a high in Omaha today of 66 degrees. A little breezy this morning, but calmer this afternoon with winds out of the northwest up to 10 to 15 miles an hour. Tonight, staying mostly clear, but becoming breezy. A low near 40 degrees and easterly winds up to 15 to 20 miles an hour. For your Tuesday, warmer still with a high of 73, mostly sunny to partly cloudy with a chance of storms tomorrow night after 7 p.m. I'm meteorologist Caitlin Harvey with KETV Newswatch 7.
It's time to find a career that's right for you. Metropolitan Community College can help you find a new path forward on your time. Whether you need a degree that puts you on a path to a new career or need to finish a degree you've already started, MCC makes it affordable and convenient with a flexible class schedule, online or on campus. It's your time to path forward. Let MCC show you the way. Register today. Classes start June 6th. Apply today at mccneb.edu/adults.
Switch to Cox Mobile and save $100 on iPhone 14. So whether you're keeping up with your book club,
It all began in Manchester.
or sharing your latest recipe, you've got a plan that fits you based on the data you need. Switch today and save $100 on a new iPhone 14 featuring the most impressive dual camera system on iPhone. The new Cox Mobile. We're different because you're different. Limited time offer for existing and new Cox Mobile lines. Prices exclude taxes and device activation. Other fees and charges are subject to change. Other terms and conditions apply. Learn more at cox.com/mobile.
Watching a ball game at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill is pretty awesome. Oscar's offers the MLB package, so your team is always on their upgraded audio-video system, and nothing is better than watching the game with a cold frosty one, Oscar's Pizza, or award-winning char-buffed wings. And with daily lunch and dinner specials, it's really a no-brainer. So get ready to watch your favorite team play ball at Oscar's Pizza and Sports Grill, 173rd and West Center Road, and takeout at 162nd and Maple.
When you're an innovative business, every blinking cursor, every blank page is an opportunity. What will you do with it? Will you make something better or create something new? Our Dell Technologies advisors provide you with tools and expertise to do incredible things because we believe in all of us. For advice on smart PC powered by Intel. Dell.
Meet Joe A, Joe B, and Joe C.
What's up?
3 everyday Joes perfecting their banking with Chase. Joe A is locking his lost debit card with the Chase mobile app. Joe B is cruising toward his new ride with AutoSave. And Joe C's Chase banker is helping him budget to go back to school. Tools that help protect, support for what's next. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Messaging and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC.
Tired of having a website that doesn't reflect the quality of your brand? At JM Online, we specialize in custom websites for unique business needs. Your website should be more than just a digital billboard. It should be a powerful tool that grows your business. Awarded Omaha's best web developers in 2023, we're dedicated to local business success. So if you're ready to take your website to the next level, go to jmonline.com and request a call.
Does eating at home have you singing the blues? Stop by Cobb's at the Shadow Lake Town Center, 180th and Center, or 72nd and Jones to grab a delicious pizza, burgers, fresh salad, and some tasty charred wings. They even offer keto crusts and an extensive variety of shareable appetizers. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Cobb's, now with 3 convenient locations to serve you. Shadow Lake Town Center, 180th and Center, and 72nd and Jones. Click cobbspizza.com to see the menu, pizza, and so much more.
Equitable Bank. We take banking personally. EquitableOnline.com.
Now back to mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone.
The NBA playoffs are underway.
See, it would work. Here he comes.
Herbie! Your new Herbie Husker.
They just play this like, I'm Herbie.
Hi, kids. I think that's Barney.
Hi, kids. Go Big Red. Hello there. Glad to meet you.
There's a reason mascots don't talk. Because we all assume they just sound like that.
Come on, kids. Go Big Red. Come on, lean into it. Go Big Red.
Can you feel it?
GBR.
That's right.
Why do they always, if they do talk, if mascots, when they do decide to talk, why do they all sound like that?
Yeah. Why can't they sound like they have about 4 packs of Camels?
Yeah. Like, why can't we get a mascot who talks like this?
Start with some old dad in the morning.
Like, if Gritty could talk, wouldn't Gritty be like, hey,
Get off my
go
lap.
Flyers! Go Flyers!
You smell, kid. Your mom's divorced.
Yeah. Like
it wasn't old.
In Succession when Roman's being the
Your dad is banging your 6th grade teacher. All I can imagine, this video is going to be released today, and it'll be like Herbie just skipping through.
Yep.
Go Big Red.
Frolicking through Lincoln.
Yep. It's a big day.
This is for my friend Harry.
It's a big day, guys.
And the Herbies that have come before me.
Yeah.
Let's go check in on my little friend, Little Red.
Oh, and then, he'd make an appearance.
Do you think he will he praise or will he talk down on the previous, as you call him, frat Herbie?
No, that's not Nebraska nice.
Will he give credit to the previous regime or will he throw shade?
Well, just like Matt Rule, I will acknowledge the past. I will say, Corn Cob Man, scary. Johnny Husker, what the hell? Husky the Husker, we got some work in progress. Mr. Cornhead, I'd eat you. Now, Harry Husker, that looks like the normal Husker fan. And then there was Mr. Big Red Harry Husker, who's got a big head. And then my dad, Herbie Husker. And then Herbie Husker that was scary, that came along, and I got put on the back burner. And then Little Red stole our fun thunder. And then frat Herbie Husker came along. But I'm back. And so is Nebraska football.
Okay.
GBR.
So there's the acknowledgement of frat Herbie, but it's not, you're not speaking up or down on.
Would you like to see my corn cob?
Jeez. Canceled just like that.
It lasted
not
3
even,
minutes and 21 seconds.
Not even an hour on the job, and he's canceled.
Can't even have full team coverage on our shows today.
I'm not canceled, boys and girls. I won't put my hands up and make a sign with my fingers. The only one I'm going to do, Coach Prime, is number 1. Go Big Red. See you at the spring game, kids.
There you have it. There it is. There's the new Herbie Husker right there.
Please say hi.
Wait.
Watch me ride my bicycle with my good friend Little Red.
Little legs going.
We're back.
God, what a big week.
We're back, baby. Can we talk about that Harry Husker or Husky Husker or the Corn Cob Man? I'd really like to talk about my good friend Harry. But don't worry, folks. We're back, and I promise I will not make an A-OK sign.
What's he mean, Dad?
For everybody that thinks that Herbie is a white supremacist, the only thing I want to suppress that is white is when we wear white jerseys and white pants on the road. Go Big Red.
Mornings with Sharp and Handley on 1620 The Zone and 1620thezone.com with Gary Sharp and Nick Handley. Now live on Twitch, YouTube, and 1620thezone.com.
The cigar enthusiasts at Hearth Cigars and Pipes are a pretty diverse bunch of humans. Some enjoy an adult beverage or two, others pass the time with a competitive yet friendly game of dominoes. Still others enjoy shooting some pool downstairs, while more than a few are just satisfied with each other's company. The common thread with all of them is the awesomeness that is their favorite cigar from the humidor. Hearth Cigars and Pipes, just off the 48th Street exit from I-680 at the corner of Mormon Bridge Road and McKinley, and at hearthcigars.com.
It's time to get registered for this year's annual Clausen Leahy Maverick Run on April 22nd at Baxter Arena. This race has something for every type of runner with a 1-mile kids race, a 5K walk, and a 5K or 10K run. Plus, in conjunction with the kids race, there's a kids zone with a variety of activities inside Baxter Arena. The event starts at 8:30 a.m. on April 22nd. Go to omavs.com/Maverick Run to find out more information and to get registered. It's the Maverick Run at Baxter Arena, April 22nd. See you there.
Workout crushed.
I crushed my workout.
Crush your workout at Genesis Health Clubs and crush contracts too. For a limited time, join Genesis Health Clubs and save 25% on month-to-month memberships with no contract. Genesis Health Clubs invites you to come in today and crush your workout. There are so many benefits to exercise and living a healthy lifestyle, but absolutely nothing beats the feeling of a great workout when you're on fire and doing your best. You've probably heard of runner's high, but you don't have to be a runner. You can get the same feeling of euphoria that lasts all day from lifting weights, dance classes, a dip in the pool, yoga, or even a few minutes in the steam room. So come crush your workout at Genesis Health Clubs, and we'll crush the contracts. Join today and save 25% per month every month, and no contracts or commitments. Your workout, your terms, your achievement. Crush your workout today. Go to GenesisHealthClubs.com for 25% off month-to-month memberships today.
Ever walk through a door and see all the trucks? Yeah, it's kind of like that at Gretna Auto Outlet. Half-ton trucks, three-quarter-ton trucks, dualies, gas or diesel. Gretna Auto Outlet will be happy to show it to you. They don't call it truck heaven for nothing, you know. Stop in the climate-controlled comfort of the indoor showroom or online with the virtual showroom at GretnaAuto.com. Gretna Auto Outlet, open Sundays too, just north of Nebraska Crossing on Highway 6 in Gretna.
Spring is a season of new beginnings, and Kinghorn Gardens has opportunities for you to build a new career with them. They've been transforming outdoor spaces for 30-plus years, and they're looking for difference makers to join them. They've defined what it means to be a full-service landscape company, and they take care of some of the most beautiful spaces in Omaha. Become more familiar with them and the positions they have open at kinghorngardens.com. That's kinghorngardens.com. At Kinghorn Gardens, they do things differently.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream, but it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online, so your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 6 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject to policy terms and underwriting.
Baseball season is here, and when you need tickets, be sure to check out my friends over at Tickets for Less. Whether you're looking to get out, see the Storm Chasers play, or want to catch a college game, TicketsForLess.com is your source for the best selection of tickets with zero per ticket fees at checkout. All you have to do is download the newly updated Tickets for Less app, or head over to TicketsForLess.com, or call right here in Omaha, 402-398-1999 to find your seats and get extra savings when you use the promo code THEZONE at checkout today.
And we're back. Mornings with Sharp and Handley. Here's Gary, Nick, and Jimmy on 1620 The Zone.
All right, our next guest never sleeps now that the NBA playoffs are here, and we have this obnoxious 9:30 Central start for the Nuggets and the T-Wolves.
If you're lucky.
Fortunately, that game was over midway through the third quarter. Joel Lorenzi, the World Herald, joins us. Good morning, my friend. How are we?
Good morning, sir. And, I don't have to deal with those lousy times because I'm on the West Coast right now.
Okay.
Right.
That was a nice little
Well, damn,
there.
it's early then right now.
Hey.
Jeez, thanks for getting
Hey,
up.
so sweet.
Yeah, you guys got me up earlier than I usually get up. So.
Dude, you're up at 7:45. This
Whoa.
is unbelievable.
Gateway drug.
Yeah.
I can hear your alarm in the background.
It's my other phone.
Hey, so on the West Coast, where the 4 California teams made the postseason, and 3 of them won, of course, they would have to split with the Sacramento and Golden State. Help me through what I watched yesterday in Phoenix between the Suns and the Clippers. Westbrook was awful for 36 minutes, and then he was great for 3.5. And I don't know what happened with Durant and what happened with the Suns at the beginning. How would you describe that game to kick off that series?
I think Russ was bad shooting the ball, and I'm not sure if you're going to get too. For the most part, defensively, guys, intensity, like to that game. I mean, just digging into KD. I think he probably takes that matchup of flying around, getting in gaps, even someone try to elevate, finding decent spots to pull from, because the offense isn't dying every time he shoots the ball. I thought he made some savvy plays, man, and he just brought energy. I think that's all you can ask out of him. I mean, maybe you hope he doesn't take what he shoot 19 shots. You hope he doesn't take 19 shots, but I thought energy wise, like he was pretty good. I really couldn't talk bad about him, and it all came together on that last play.
We were talking about this earlier today too. The Lakers Grizz series itself, and given Ja's health, and we'll see what happens in Game 2. The fact that AD and LeBron didn't really need to be a huge scoring presence down the stretch. What do you think this is kind of done this series, and how you kind of view this series right now?
Yeah, don't get it twisted though. AD, I think is comfortably the best player in that series, and now I think you're looking at Ja probably being out, which puts a thorn in that series, and obviously alters it a ton. But I thought before Ja went down, AD, I mean, between the defense and the stretches where it's just him in those lineups without Bron, and they're not going to him, but they should be. Like, he looked like the best player on the floor. And granted, I mean, Jaren Jackson went off and whatnot, but a lot of that was, getting going with the low post matchups with Rui and Bron to start, and he didn't really score on AD. Like, I'm watching AD in the increments he played, and I'm like, yo, like, this dude is the best player on the floor. So I was just stunned. Maybe not stunned, but I think this is just playoff basketball, guys, real guys step up.
Yeah.
For Rui to play his best game in the uniform, and for them to like say like, you got to beat us, and he. I mean, time after time, June 30, like that was nuts. I wasn't surprised that Austin Reeves doing what he did. Maybe, the 15th and the 4th was like a little like, okay, like damn. But Rui was the biggest surprise, and I don't think it was close. But I think you'll see a bit of that from somebody in every series. It happened to be him. I think he's better, like matchup-wise for this type of setting, the postseason. I think he, with his size, the fact that he can try to dig into, a Jaren Jackson and still pull you out behind the line on the other end. Like, I always thought his mold was interesting if he had the right, like if the fit was there. And I always liked the pickup for the Lakers. I know like his minutes and whatnot have been weird since he got there, but I mean, yesterday was his best game.
Yep. Which team? And then there were upsets galore. So what lower seed that got an upset are you ready to count on, I know after one game, that is going to win their series?
I think the Lakers, and I would have said that before Ja went down. I'm not sold on Miami, man. I thought they really got a really fluky win yesterday, especially with Giannis going out. I think before the first half even ended, I'm not sold on it. Like, don't get me wrong. I think in Miami, like, people were like that's because it's a 1-8. People are like, oh yeah, Miami is this huge dog, and especially because the Bucks are so good. But I see it like, yo, like the Heat on their best days are still a good team. They still show flashes of that bubble team. I think they're just so inconsistent, man. And at their worst, they're so mid. So it's easy to write them off. But I think in playoff settings, man, it's hard to bet against Jimmy Butler. His gravity, the pressure he puts on the rim. I mean, he was getting to it yesterday. And so, but I still don't think they win the series. I mean, I think if Giannis is playing how he should be, even if Chris Middleton is, 70%, they should win that series. I'm not sold on that. But in terms of upset, probably just at the top of my head, probably the Lakers is the only one I'm in on. And I don't even know if that's really upset because, I mean, Memphis got injuries and the Lakers are kind of like a catfish seed since they got better at the deadline.
Yeah.
So,
Joel, I wanted to ask you, Chuck was mentioning this on the postgame last night, and I didn't really think of it, but he kind of got me thinking, and I want to get your thought too, because you've been following this all year and been following them all year too. He mentioned he doesn't think Denver is getting enough of the run nationally when it comes to media-wise and predictions of having a chance to win it all, and he He's all in on Denver. He thinks that they have the complete team. And, obviously with Phoenix and the addition of KD, that brought a little bit more. And Sacramento's been kind of a fun team too. But do you think Denver's getting enough of the credit and respect they deserve here in the playoffs?
Probably not. I think it's just because, I don't know, man. It feels like past West champs. Like, don't get me wrong, this Nuggets team is good. But I think past West champs have been more compelling. I don't know, and probably a lot of that is probably like the anti-Jokic faction. Like, I think people still haven't come around to Jokic. I don't know, man. I think this team is probably on the surface less compelling. I think because you look at recent champs and see probably a way better defense from those groups. That it's hard to say, like, okay, this Nuggets team is it. They got that DNA, but they're just so good offensively, and Jokic himself is like a walking offense. And so, yeah, they're probably not getting the love they should be, but I could see why they wouldn't get it from certain people. And honestly, like, I'm not going to say their run is going to be easy, but I look around at the teams that are supposed to challenge them, and I'm like, man, like, I don't know. I think the best contenders are in the East right now, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, the one thing I do like about the Nuggets that might be a little bit different, this has been an issue in the Murray Joker era, is they don't have, like, the enforcers. And you saw Christian Braun last night with Kyle Anderson, but Bruce Brown and Caldwell Pope are two guys that'll get after it. Joel Lorenzi, the World Herald, joining us. Let's shift to Creighton. Busy weekend. Stephen Ashworth, Andrew Rohde on campus. Your belief, will Creighton get good news this week in their guard rotation?
Yes, from at least one of those guys. Probably the guy they really truly need. Honestly, like, I'm not too, like, I'm pretty comfortable in the idea that they can land Ashworth. I think they're really on him hard. And this is a guy that, I mean, if Matt could build a player in the lab, I think Ashworth would come out there doing like Captain America, man. Like, this is a guy that fits the mold, fits the Creighton brand. And I mean, you plug him into pretty much any program and he does his thing, just with the shooting and the playmaking chops and, just his build period. Not the biggest guard, but he's got a game where you can plug him anywhere. And I think that's the guy of the two who are on campus you want with the Nembhard news, obviously. And I'm pretty comfortable in the idea that they can land him with the way they've been after him and, with his options. Now, Rohde, I'm not so sure. I think they still got a good chance at him, but I know other schools are involved. So I don't know about Rohde yet. I'll get in contact with these guys in the next week or so about their visit. Maybe I think you might see a commitment even sooner before I can get to them. So yeah, I think they'll be fortunate to get at least one of those guys as soon as this week.
We know it was made official last week, and it wasn't a big surprise. I know you weren't surprised by it. The Baylor Shireman is coming back. As far as anything that would surprise you, but maybe surprise, but don't rule it out. Anybody else that you kind of look at? I know we've talked about Trey before, but he seems like maybe more likely than not he's back. We've all kind of assumed that maybe Art Kaluma could be moving on, but I mean, is there anybody right now that you're kind of in the all right, keep your eye on it, but it would still kind of qualify as a surprise?
From this team?
Yeah.
Not really. I mean, we've hit all the bases on all the guys that we really kept our eyes on, right? I mean, they had such a short rotation. It's not like we're looking at the 9th or 10th man. Like, oh, keep your eyes on them. Like these are the guys that the people are worried about. If I'm being frank, and I think for the majority of them, they're looking at probably entering the process. Well, not Shireman, obviously, but I look at Kalkbrenner, I look at Trey Alexander, and those are a couple guys that can probably test the waters, go through the process, and then where we stand now, they probably look at coming back and doing their thing again. I think they got the foundation. If they land a guy like, let's say, Ashworth potentially, and they already got Shyman in the fold, Farabello returning, like I don't see why. Like the framework is there. It would probably maybe not shock me, but I'd be relatively surprised if either of those dudes walked away now. And I think, especially Kalkbrenner, maybe Trey could still walk away, but I don't see it, honestly.
Is this the week? And Mac kind of alluded to it in his Q&A with Tom. And I mean, I know, Mac has probably had some conversations with the family that Art Kaluma before Sunday will put his name into the NBA draft, but retain his college eligibility.
Yeah, I think that's something that's been expected. If any of these guys were going to be, testing the waters, it was probably him. For starters, all of these dudes, every last one of them, at least sent their name in for what do you call it? Observation. Like you get before you really submit your name to the pool, like you can get that roundabout observation from teams and kind of test where you would get drafted or where they look at you at before you even go through the process. So they all went through that. I'm pretty sure. But now I think, like Mac, I think you just said Mac confirmed it, but yeah, I mean, this isn't surprising. Like, this is a dude that we've been talking about this for weeks, and all the burners are coming around now, and they're like, yeah, my sources tell me Kaluma is hitting the portal, and so yeah, we can't be surprised, right? Like, this is a guy that you kind of saw at the end of the year. I don't know if this is the direct reason. I'm sure it's part of it, but him and Mac would get into each other on the floor. It was becoming visible, and I think the idea of who Art was wasn't I mean, Mac didn't share that idea, and so I mean, this is a guy that is probably gonna enter the portal and stay there. I mean, I know some people are lumping him in with next year's group and assuming that he's gonna be here, and I'm not comfortable in making that assumption.
You've been pretty straight with that. Hey, enjoy the West Coast. Enjoy Golden State Sacramento. Hopefully, it gives us another great game like Game 1.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it, guys.
Hey, that's Joel Lorenzi from the Omaha World Herald.
I'm envious. He gets a 7:00 game for that one.
I'm excited. He woke up at 7:30 with us.
That's pretty amazing.
How about that?
That's the story of the show.
Yeah, it is.
Not Herbie Husky. That Joel Lorenzi.
You should have conducted half of that interview as Herbie. Hello, Joel. He would have been, what the hell?
Hello, Joel. This is Herbie.
This is why I don't get up early.
Let's talk some hoops.
Oh, Big Red. What do you think about Hoyball? I can't wait to be back in Pinnacle Bank Arena, hanging with all the kids and the fans and drinking beer.
There are some guests that would take that in amazing stride. I would have loved to hear Joel's response.
Oh, here we go.
We got breaking news.
Here we go.
Is it happening?
Yep.
Breaking news.
Sometimes to move forward, you gotta look back. The history of the mascot at Nebraska has been pretty simple. So they've just revealed it. Unfortunately, it's a video here. It's a minute 18 video. Whatever the thing is that is furry.
There's corn speckles.
Yeah. So this just got released on the Husker Twitter account. He pulls out what looks like a scrapbook, and it's all the former Huskers of. Oh, there's Harry. Hey, there's Mr.
I have it on right now.
Ah, yes. I'm back. I got blonde hair. I got the corn cob. I got overalls, and I'm holding up a number 1 finger.
There's the kernels.
Not turned around the wrong way. I will not be canceled.
Oh, so they didn't show him actually live. They just showed what we talked about the shirt.
He's
He's
baby
there.
buffalo.
He's there, and he's got everything, but he's looking at it. You're showing like the hands, and it doesn't show like a full Herbie. You actually have to look at like the logo.
They should have released this on 420. They might have gone hand in hand.
Okay.
So the total reveal will be on Saturday. That's got to be it.
I'll be at the game on Saturday.
You want to see what I look like?
Way to steal Frank's thunder.
Matt Rule said, put on a show, so Jeff Sims is going to throw me a pass. And I'm going to streak down the field. I'm going to run by all them short guys and those slow guys. I'm back. We're back. Tomorrow at 6. You know what I'm going to do? Like, I'm going to go somewhere today, and I'm going to all of a sudden get into Herbie Husker voice.
It'll accidentally happen that way.
Please come to the spring game. Give me a hug. Sit on my lap. And let's talk about the Huskers.
Nothing creepy about that at all.
Back to you, Greg Sharp. See you tomorrow at 6.